Can you hear me now?
Hey, there we are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me.
Alex, are you talking?
Yes.
I have nothing. I'm not hearing anything.
This is on your side.
Did you mute
This
yourself?
is your side.
Change over your audio settings.
It's your side, not my side. Your side.
What? I don't know
I
what
hear
the hell
you.
you're saying. Man. This is lovely, isn't it? This is why we got together early, so we could do this. Are you typing things in the chat? You can hear me. I get that.
I confirm that my mic is working.
And your mic is working. It's showing you up in here, but I can't hear you for some reason.
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly? It doesn't tell me anything, brother. I can't hear you at all. Yes, I can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
You've connected to audio. I still can't hear you.
When I talk? When I talk, do you see it move?
Yeah. You're showing. Go ahead and talk once.
Hello.
You see all the clicking.
Hello. When I talk, does it move up and down?
Speak.
Hello.
Yeah, you go
I'm
up and down. Like I can
speaking.
see you in the OBS interface, like doing stuff. Select a speaker.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
now? I'm on my phone.
Okay. So I know that's why I called you. So because it's more difficult through chat. So if you click the little chevron beside your microphone.
Beside my microphone in Zoom, right?
Correct.
Okay, microphone.
What is your speaker?
Speakers, Realtek, high definition, same as system. It says speakers.
So do you have a set of headphones plugged in right now? So can you select your headphones? Is your headphones plugged into your speaker?
It's plugged into my laptop, which everything is going through.
Can you select the headphones as a speaker? Like is
oh,
headset
apparently the chat can hear you.
What chat can hear me?
We're on YouTube live. We're streaming live to YouTube, but it's okay.
We're already live?
Yeah, there's only 3 concurrent views. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, hey, what's up, chat?
Yeah, what's going on? We'll get this figured out real quick.
I don't know why you're coming through my speaker still. It's like fucking makes no sense.
I don't get it.
So like I don't understand. Maybe we should just restart the call?
Okay.
You want to just restart the Zoom call? It'll probably solve all of the fuck ups. turn it off and on again is like step one.
Like the whole Zoom application?
Yeah, let's just our call. Just like we'll just leave the meeting and then just reinvite me to the create a new meeting, reinvite me to the meeting, and we'll just go from there.
Okay. I apologize, chat. We will figure this out. My brain. Technology is the best.
Back like we never left. Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you.
Why can you suddenly not hear me? What is this nonsense? I mean, like, I'm pretty sure the chat can hear me, right? Hello? Nice. Jake McCormick can hear me. What up, Jake?
Why?
Turn on. I'll change my lights so you guys can see me, as currently I'm in the room of darkness. So I will undarken. Behold.
I still can't hear you.
I hear you perfectly, man.
I do not.
I hear you. I hear you.
Is it because is it something in OBS that I'm missing?
Could be something in OBS. Yeah, it sounds good. I can hear myself in the stream if I unmute.
What in the fuck? That's what I'm looking up. Yeah, it sounds good to y'all, but I can't hear anything. I can't hear what he's saying.
I mean, I guess this is my opportunity. I guess it's just my opportunity to just start plugging my own content. So, hi everybody, my name is Alex Rashi. I'm the captain.
You shut the fuck up! Don't even start.
A Canadian booher team from Montreal, Quebec. We participate in a variety of events: ACS, HMB, IMCF, whatever. And you can find my content over at youtube.com/BearBlackspear, which is my channel name. So feel free to follow me both on Facebook and on Twitter. Not on Twitter, on YouTube. I hear that so much that I just repeated it out of nowhere, even though I don't have Twitter, because I think it's fucking garbage. But feel free to follow me on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to be starting up a Twitch soon in order to be able to stream myself. And I invite you to add me to friends, send me questions, inquiries, suggestions for content, whatever you want. And as you can see, I'm pretty promiscuous. I'm appearing on like every possible channel I can now. So you'll probably see me around not only here, but on Ringo's channel. And I have, I'll be having Paul and Ringo on my channel. We're just going to be, we're just going to be incestuously going on to each other's channels.
It's called networking and building a community, you asshole. You don't have to make it incestuous and dirty.
Well, I mean, it is incestuous and dirty.
Well, that's a good point.
Oh, I can hear you. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, wait. All right. Perfect. Rock and roll.
So I think I don't know why. I don't know why, but I think it might, like, OBS is having a problem with streaming with headphones on for some reason.
Just lost focus here. There we go. Mazel tov.
I don't know why that my headphones were, like, not reading you. I unplugged my headphones and now I can hear you fine. I don't get it.
That's wonderful. Let's do it.
And I don't have them muted on my end. So.
So are you getting? Is there like some? Is the stream getting any doubling or anything?
Yeah. Are you guys getting doubling on your end?
We'll find out momentarily.
I don't know what the hell? No, there's.
We already have one like, my dude.
Yeah, man. People like us.
We're not even set up, and we already have one like. You have an amazing community.
I love my community. Okay, yeah, a little. Okay. So there's a little bit of reverb, but that's okay. I can deal with that.
Sounds a little weird. Yeah, that's probably because you're getting some kind. Are you able to move your microphone? Where's your mic?
What do you mean? Where's my mic? Like I'm using
a laptop.
I'm using the laptop mic.
Ah, okay. Integrated mic. I get it. So when you have your headphones on, do your headphones have a microphone? Have you switched your audio input on your computer?
You're talking
to your
headphones.
headphones.
I can't hear you.
So when you plug in your headphones to your computer, do you click on your sound icon and select your headset as your output?
No, a little thing pops up and it
Asks me questions and it says headset in or headset.
Can you hear me now?
Speaker in, mic in, line in.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me. So if you're on Windows 10,
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change it.
if you're on Windows
We're just
10,
gonna
click on
wrap
your
around with this.
Are you on Windows 10?
Yes.
If you click on your sound icon, you can select your audio output. So if you plug in your headphones and then click on your sound icon, you should be able to select your
It automatically pops up.
Right.
And it asks me if it's a headset in.
Right.
A power tool in the background. Like
I do hear something grindy as well, actually.
it is. I think it's probably the shittiest lights in my basement.
Wow.
Like
That's a shitty light.
It's also a really good microphone on my laptop. That might be it too.
I mean, possibly.
Here,
But,
I can.
do you have another set of headphones you can put in? Because I would just isolate the sound. First world problems. Do you have another set of headphones? Are you just sitting on piles of unused technology that you can just afford but not use? Most first world problems.
Hey, is that background sound gone? Is the power tool sound gone? The song of power tools.
I've already gotten used to it. I can't even hear it.
Can't even
It's
tell.
part of my world now.
There you go. That's what you get.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if that's like coming from you or if that's like from all of the head trauma.
That's tinnitus is real, brother.
I have tinnitus. It is shit. Oh,
The tinnitus.
somebody's
Speak
got to
of
put their phone on
tinnitus.
silent. Boom. Phone is on silent. Mom can get a phone call back later.
Oh, it's your mom.
It is my mom.
Oh,
Jewish moms, bro.
hey,
There, Jay, check in.
they know
got
when
it,
to
it's
when to call you too.
Bro, it's just, she doesn't call. She doesn't even call for anything. She's just like, I just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm like, I'm okay because I can't legally leave my house. So like, I'm pretty sure I'm safe.
Hey, chat. How's the noise now? Like you don't hear Bear in the background talking, do you?
I'm just talking shit. That's all I'm doing.
I know. That's why I figured that was what you were doing while I couldn't hear you.
I was just plugging my own content the whole time.
I know. It's perfectly fine.
I was just like, oh, I'm going to take the opportunity to shamelessly plug myself. And I'll continue doing that. So the kind of content I like to produce is,
You already have had the opportunity. I gave you the step up to come up on my platform and plug all your shit. Like I'm helping the little man out and I'm picking him up.
I get it. All right. That's how it's going to be. Okay.
That's how it's gonna be.
All right.
Oh yeah. By the way,
Just remember this when my channel explodes and leaves all of you guys in the dust. Okay. Just remember this humble beginnings moment. All right. And then when you come to me begging for viewers scraps and subscriber scraps. Okay. You're gonna like come sit at my table and then you're gonna want me to give you some crumbs of viewership. We'll see. Just wait.
Oh, you're funny.
You're the big dog. You're the big dog in the yard right now, Paul. All right.
I'm the
with
big.
with your 3.5K subscribers. All right. You little channels like me, we're up and comers. You just keep looking down your nose at me until bam. So one day, man, I'm gonna be climbing that ladder right beside you.
Oh, good lord, dude!
Yeah.
I expect nothing to happen of this. This is just ridiculousness, and like I've been as humble as humanly possible. So
you are quite humble. You're quite humble. I give you all the credit. Don't.
Don't. That's a terrible idea. So Everybody, we found a video channel from a guy in Russia that's been taking videos of like HMB tournaments that have been happening over there. We're gonna look at a couple of those. We've got a bunch of singles fighting on for tonight. We got a couple of polearm fights that are going. And then we've got Sword and Buckler set up because nobody likes... For some reason, Sword and Buckler, I think, is, like, really fun to fight because it is very fast and it requires a certain amount of dexterity to go and fight it. It's not a big thing in the States. Like, people go and do Sword and Buckler for the fun of it. I think it's just because it's not a medal-worthy thing at IMCF or Botten. Maybe Botten has a Sword and Buckler championship, do they?
They do. Sword and Buckler is a category. I believe now it's integrated into the triathlon. I don't know if they still have it as their own category. I would need to research. But for a while they did. For quite a while they did.
And are the rules for that first to 5 hips up same like we do in the States?
That is the only way that people do Sword and Buckler, to my understanding.
Good, because I think that's fun.
I'm not personally a fan of that, but I mean, they want to make it different than Sword and Shield. Otherwise, it's just Sword and Shield with a smaller shield.
I'm big, tall and fast, so I like being able to like make the points before they can touch me, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, sure. All right. I mean, I like Sword and Buckler as a discipline. I'm a huge fan of Sword and Shield in general, and Sword and Buckler is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
I would like to see Sword and Buckler as a protracted duel simply because I feel it's a different fighting style than, you know, your traditional Sword and Shield duel, even though you can have different shapes of shields and shit.
Yeah.
But like I think just in terms of the shot selection, the overall strategy, like if you make those fights a minute long round, like it's going to be a different kind of a fight than if it's first to 5. And for a community that's constantly bitching against like stuff like this,
yeah,
I personally find that it counterposes it's counterintuitive in terms of how we view fighting and what our whole like approach to it is, to kind of go into I'm just going to try to spam this guy's legs down as quickly as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I find that doesn't do justice to not only our athleticism, but our desire to master the sword itself.
That's why I kind of like the first to 5, because the surgical strike that I throw counts a lot more than it does when I'm doing Sword and Shield duels. Like the 2 shots that you can't block and I land them consistently, like those will win me a Sword and Buckler match. They will only like give me a couple of free points in a Sword and Shield match.
Well, I would agree with you. But that's because of the fundamental rules difference between the matches.
Yeah.
But I would assert that if you were to make the rules the same between the categories, the difference in equipment would create a completely different meta.
Agreed.
Because the way that you have to approach a Sword and Buckler duel in terms of stance and position and shot selection and like distance management is really different when your shield is like the size of a dinner plate versus your shield being like, fucking like one of those bad boys.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Right? So let's go ahead and start this polearm duel that we've got going here.
Okay. So this is the first one.
Battle of Neva 2020 12F.
Men Halberd 12F, followed by letters that I can't read.
A whole bunch of Cyrillic.
Letters that I can't read. Cool, gotcha.
A whole bunch of Cyrillic.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Cyrillic.
Which is just Greek turned upside down.
Oh my god, it is.
These guys
thought of it that way.
Clubbing each other. It really okay. And these guys are running with a rope in between them. They've got a barrier.
Are we just going? Are we already going?
Yeah, I am.
Sorry, I wasn't coordinated with you. So where are you at?
Go to 7 seconds.
I am at 7 seconds. So you're already going?
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. I haven't seen this. Oh, barrier. Yeah, I like barrier. Barrier's interesting.
The same playlist has a bunch of stuff from like Botten, has the Botten duels on it as well. If we want to look at those, like he just comes in with immediately the 1-2 punch, like left, right, left, right.
Yeah. I really like that. I'm a big fan of throwing your first shot, like your halberd flat snap, followed by the left straight.
Yep.
And these guys is a really good alternative to that too. Yeah.
These guys are both using the turnovers that you really are seeing a lot of. Like people are doing that quick return. They're using it as a feint.
They're like that kayak move.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. Like I teach a lot of my two-hand fighters to do those kinds of moves, in particular when you're trying to set up additional shots, because that punch and that the follow through at the end of the shaft, the butt of the shaft, is quite powerful, both in terms of displacement and in terms of impact.
Yep.
And it allows you to move their guard around enough to be able to set up your axe head. So I'm a big fan of that.
It's also nifty for scoring purposes that if you put a steel butt cap on the end of it, it makes the same ting sound that an axe blade does.
Yeah, it can be nice. I like how they're both fighting with like a choked up position on the halberd. They both want to scrap it out at the barrier, but the fighter in white is doing substantially better. So I would suggest to the fighter in black to kind of choke down to gain more range on that halberd in order to swing from distance, because you're just getting mangled on the inside. Like, I think it's clear at this point that the fighter in white is absolutely dominating.
Yeah, no shit. Like, he's walking up to the barrier and he's basically telling him, come and get me. You're going to be walking into blows the whole time. The guy in black is being a little too timid. Yeah, he's standing there and fighting with him, but he's not being aggressive enough when he's at the barrier with the guy. This is very different compared to like championship barrier fights where they're like stepping away from the barrier so the guy can't hit them, and then they step in and make their blows and they bounce back and forth a lot. These guys are going to the barrier and standing there and just banging it out.
Oh, there's some the gas tank happening there. Oh, that shot to the head.
He's just gonna club the ever living crap out of him, and you can see his gauntlet is just jacked up.
So that was the end of that fight. So, do you want to run that one back again, or are you just moving on to the next fight?
I think it's just going to move on to the next one. I'm checking out the chat. What's going on, Mockingbird? Thanks for being in the thanks everybody for being in the chat. Like, good on you for being around. I'm about it. Let me see participants.
So just let me know when you're starting the next one.
Yeah, it's just sitting there. I'm at 0 on the next one.
Perfect. Me too. Just let me know when you're ready to start, so we go at the same pace.
Yeah, I get you. It does restrict shots to the lower body a lot. Do you have the chat? Do you have the stream chat open in your own thing so you can interact with the chat as well?
I do. I can see the chat. So I see Hakuna Matata, which is a friend of mine. Hey, Fanny, shout out. Hakuna Matata says the barrier is interesting, but it looks like it restricts shots to the lower body a lot, which I believe is what you were just commenting on.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So I would agree that the barrier would restrict shots from range, but once you step up to the barrier, you can throw across the barrier. It's no longer a factor in terms of its limitation to your shot selection. Definitely from range, it could be a bit of a bitch to shoot around, especially if you're trying to go like really low to the ground in terms of angulation on your shots to the leg. It can be a bit of a bitch, but like normally I would say you're going to be throwing shots to the leg from that barrier anyway, because that's where most of the engagement is happening. Like, so that would be my response to that.
Pulling away from the barrier is a reasonable thing to do, but also being very up on the barrier to keep them from being there and allows you full range of motion is definitely a thing. By the way, shout out to my buddy Matthias Suberg. He's actually one of the guys out of Denmark, one of the Borg twins. What's going on, dog? Miss the fuck out of you.
I'm gonna shout out to Rowan Y. RY, what's up? Ran home from work as fast as I could. Yo, respect, man. I put up a post in the MCC Discord, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna be home in time for it." Guy blitzed home. That is true fanship right there. Hey, much respect.
I'm all about it. No, like I definitely, actually, Matthias, I definitely want to get you and your brother on a live stream and talk with you guys about the international like situation and like what you guys got going in Denmark, because you guys do a lot of work. And I missed the ever-living shit out of you anyway, so I'm not going to go fight. I'm not fighting any of the international tournaments this year. I've been super spooked about going and doing stuff overseas. Plus, I don't really know.
The koof, man.
What?
The koof.
Yeah, the koof.
Bro, some shit. Personally, I don't want to fuck with that shit. It's like I can remain in athlete condition like for a couple of years and then go fight when it's like not literally potential death. That's
kind of how I feel too. At least career death and like real death is their thing too.
Career death is real death. There's no life without sword fighting.
Agreed.
You call that living?
Yeah, the coronavirus is pretty spooked. Plus, like, I don't know if America's going to be allowed to leave our country by the time tournaments come around. Because we still have a travel ban. We're not allowed to go anywhere. So
probably for the best.
Probably.
You guys just need to all stay there. Just all of you guys just stay corralled forever. I'm kidding. I'm just being silly.
Okay, let's get. By the way, chat. If you have anything to ask the two of us in our goofiness, you can ask away. We will probably have an answer, or we will heckle you in some way, shape, and form.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to ask anything. I'm a font of knowledge and experience, ready to provide you with all of the answers you need.
By the way, that is shorthand for saying he's really good at bullshitting.
I am so good at bullshit. I'm so good at bullshit, you can't even tell if I'm bullshitting you when I tell you how good I am at bullshit.
Ain't that a son of a bitch?
Meta levels of bullshit.
Meta. Okay, this is Battle of Neva. Oh, by the way, anybody that wants to follow along with us, there's a playlist on my YouTube channel that has fights I watch, and these are like the polearm fights that are in that playlist. If you guys want to follow along, if the stream's jacked up, I don't know if the stream's jacked up, so we're just gonna go with it.
Rowan says I haven't attended any tournaments or any practices for a year because I work with some higher risk coworkers. Yo, respect to you, man.
Hey, man.
Sometimes being a hero means acting in small ways, and many of us in Canada have been in the same or similar position. So as the captain of the Montreal team, we haven't really been able to organize anything for a year. We all lost out on IMCF and Booher and Battle of the Nations, as well as a variety of other tournaments and events that have been planned. So my heart goes out to you, my brother. I completely feel you.
I definitely agree. You're not going overseas this year, are you? You're not planning to, are you?
We were planning the Team Canada qualifiers for Battle of Nations 2021 in Prague, but with considering how the vaccine rollout in Canada is like absolute shit right now, and we're not really sure about how everything is going to work, and there's like travel bans and shit, it's very difficult to make any plans. So right now I'm singularly focused on my upcoming pro fight with Ringo, and for me, that's my current world championship.
By the way,
if I can absolutely annihilate Ringo and bring home his scalp to put on my wall, I will be happy for 2021.
By the by, I haven't seen any videos about y'all's progress and everything else like that. We're getting into a month away from when you announced it, so work on your shit.
Correct. I'm already in production for episode 0 of my upcoming series, which is called The Road to Ringo. And episode 0 is going to be my official I Accept video detailing a little bit of what's going to be coming, and I already have a bit of a production schedule planned for upcoming content.
It's a good plan. Like, keep yourself on a schedule. You can actually get content done. By the way, shout out to Mid Stormcloak. Did I ever fight that guy that won the shield giveaway? Yes, I have fought Chuck a couple of times, and I love fighting Chuck because he is a very enthusiastic fighter. Matthias, I will answer your question about the 3-way U.S. internal drama. I fight in all of them. I don't care. I'm a member of the ACW, the AMCF, and the ACS. I'm there to fight people. I'm there to put out information to people. I'm there to bring the fighting community at least back together in some way, shape, or form. And I really couldn't give a crap less. That's all ego games that I don't give a shit about. I'm gonna go. That's enough on that one. We're gonna watch this new video. We're gonna watch this video. You ready? You got it pulled up. 1, 2, 3, go.
Bam.
Oh,
I love the production values on this guy's channel, man.
No, they look great.
This guy has been filming Boohert since the beginning. He recently had like his 92nd birthday or something. Like, this guy is OG important.
Well, there they go. They blew.
Huge.
They went right into it, didn't they?
Yeah.
We're gonna restart that because that was a fast start.
You're restarting it?
No, not right now. We're just gonna walk through this.
Oh, wow. See, there was that shot to the leg, Fanny, that you were talking about. So once you're up to the barrier, it's not really an issue. But, man, the kayak from that black fighter, really good at alternating shots and setting up the axe head, whereas the burn fighter seems to be having a bit of a difficult time setting the pace.
Yeah.
Very, very nice counter shot there.
Yeah, that was really well placed and well timed. There's the leg chop. There's the side chop.
Josh Fryer's good friend of mine says that these are the 2 top halberders in the world.
Really?
I wouldn't surprise. I don't really know their names. Is that Evgeny Agiv? I think it is, actually. Yeah, because that would be that would make sense in black. That would be Agiv. He's an absolute animal.
They're both pummeling the crap out of each other.
Well, it's interesting to note how they're making use of the barrier, right? How he's stepping up. He isn't stepping up square with the barrier. He's stepping up bladed with the barrier.
Yeah.
So this kind of leads into what that comment earlier was about how you could throw shots around the barrier. It's a really good way because you're presenting yourself in profile to it, so it doesn't inhibit your strikes to the leg. And in this kind of a position, you can see that he's able to throw shots down the middle. He's able to throw shots on either side. So you're almost eliminating the barrier as something that could inhibit you.
Yeah, and they're both fighting left. They were both fighting left hand up, and the black fighter keeps switching back and forth. They're both fighting left hand up, thinking that each other are like right hand dominants.
Well, I mean, I fight Goofy as well. I think that's very common for a lot of high-level fighters. I've seen it among lots of people, both in longsword and at halberd at a very high level, is having left hand up, right hand down, because it's just there's a leverage comfort there for some people. I mean, it's like a baseball bat. Some people like to bat goofy, some people like to bat standard, right?
There's a reason. Okay, we're gonna.
You want to run that one back?
I'm gonna jump back one real quick, but I want to take a second. I want to take a second and think and talk about this real quick.
Sure.
Halberders, like melee guys that go in and fight long pole and stuff like that, they shift to that left hand up and they put it on the other side because that is usually a sword and border's sword arm.
Correct.
That's to the less defensive side, and it's more quick to throw that. And when I fight longsword, I usually do that as well because it's easier for me to get slot shots in a lot quicker because they're used to defending against the right-handed man. If you fight like a left-handed man, you got to change your whole tactics.
For me, it's a pure comfort thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of fighting southpaw just in general because like for a variety of technical and mechanical reasons, but also just in terms of overall comfort. Like I'm right-legged and right-handed, but it bizarrely enough, I really like to be right leg forward rather than right leg back. So what that creates is it creates like a more functional position for fighting left hand up.
Yeah.
Because when you're left hand up and left foot forward, you don't have the same kind of power generation as you do when you're left hand up, right leg forward. Right.
Grant Klein says southpaw is the only way.
I mean, that's a huge debate. I'm very passionate about fighting as a southpaw, but I do agree with like common fight theory that there's no such thing as a right-handed southpaw. So
yeah.
I think in terms of unarmed combat, your best bet is going to be, more traditionally it's going to be if your right hand be orthodox and if your left hand be southpaw. But in the weapons context, I feel that that's a bit different, simply because we interact with mechanics that they don't deal with. And distance management changes, and like the way you set up power changes, and like how you throw shots on both sides with one arm is a thing. So I mean, there's a lot of factors biomechanically that make southpaw really advantageous in a sword fighting context, and you see that replicated in high-level fencing as well. I believe it's like the top 6 or 7 fencers in the world are all southpaws. They're all lefties.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I think we should watch some. I think at some point in time in another stream we should watch some fencing videos.
I love fencing. I think it's sick. I think the only problem with the current Olympic meta is how they time. How like the time frame works, how priority works. So like you just get people suiciding into each other to get like that 0.025 second touch while you have priority. So I think that there's some legitimate criticism about how competitive fencing is structured, but in terms of what it reveals about how sword fighting works mechanically, I think it's very, very informative.
Yeah. I actually really wanted to start doing some, not exactly long point, but I want to do some SCA. I want to go fight the SCA and learn how to do their cut and thrust stuff.
Yeah,
I really want to fuck around with that.
I did a little bit of that at one point, right before I got into, like, I touched heavy fighting very, very briefly, and then I immediately went into Booher. Right?
Yeah.
But I touched light fighting right before I touched heavy fighting, and it was my first interaction with steel weapons, and I found it to be really interesting. And I find that push cuts and push and pull is really not difficult to integrate with your traditional, like, Western, North American sword fighting style, like flat snaps and offsides and shit. You can like push or pull through a flat snap really easily. So you can integrate that into that kind of fighting. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely different because you're not looking to like generate power.
You're not trying to break their neck. You're just trying to place it right there, kind of thing.
It's a lot of fun. I think that there's something to be said about the precision and about being able to properly do a draw or a push cut once you've made contact. And there's a finesse there that we don't have any appreciation for in our sport because it's not a factor in how we score.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. Like that's why I was saying about how I like sword and buckler. Sword and buckler, I can throw the offside that hits you in the eye slot, that hits you right next to your eye slot, but then immediately throw a Molinet into your collarbone. And if I hit you in the collarbone, like it's right there, it's perfect. Kind of thing.
What I don't understand about that argument that you were making right before we got on stream was I don't understand how you can't use those same techniques in Sword and Shield. Like,
I can.
I don't because the requirements for point scoring are the same.
It's not weighted the same because we are first to 5. If I can throw the more precise and faster blows than doing in Sword and Shield, where it is it is more of an endurance fight and keeping your point count to where you're at least 2 up. kind of thing. Like those two up can just be a spam to the a random spam to the leg you throw in, and then you back out and you get away, kind of thing. That's why you were saying like, why don't we go to hips up for doing sword and shield duels instead of allowing leg spamming to be a thing?
No, I love legs. I would never in a million years suggest that we remove legs from the sword and shield equation.
Okay.
I think that would make, I think already the direction that Battle of Nations has taken with the weighting of points to the headshots and shoulder shots, I already think that's very misguided in terms of how to structure point scoring.
I get you.
Like, just because if you make your head count for 2 points, you're not going to increase or decrease head hunting or leg hunting.
Yeah.
Because if I can still put my shield in your face and apply pressure, and I can throw shots into your legs without you doing anything, it doesn't matter that your head counts for 2 because I'm going to throw 70 million shots into your legs.
Yep.
So like,
I'm gonna out math the game of getting leg shots compared to the however many headshots I could land in a fight. I get what you're saying. The math checks out.
Functionally, it changes nothing, because if you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to encourage you to throw shots at the head," well, I'm already encouraged to throw shots at the head, and the shots to the head, like even if you make them worth 2, that doesn't mean I'm going to be scoring them, because shots to the head are substantially more difficult in sword and shield than shots to the leg, especially when you're fighting against a guy with a heater shield who barely has the ability to defend the shin, which we're allowed to shoot at. When compared with something like SCA, where you have to be an inch above the knee and up. So like the moment that I can shoot for the shin becomes like a head in terms of how it moves defense around the target, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to make such big moves in order to defend. So you can't remove the leg from that equation, because then suddenly you can't hit the person at all.
I will have 1 point. It does not take that much to move the defense, because you just void the fucking leg. That's my only point to what you said. You're completely right. But if all I have to do is move my leg, all I'm going to do is move my leg. I'm not going to move my shield to block that leg out.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, it would become like SCA, and there's an argument that could be made about the technical nature of SCA and the interaction of shield play and how shield presses and shield hooks and stuff and, like, manipulation and all that shit really matters, because there's a lot of setup to make small defensive moves. So we could make an argument that it would increase technical play by doing something like that, or having similar rules, because now suddenly the available targets are smaller. But I think that it just detracts overall from your ability to score points and having interesting fight when you remove like a major part of the dynamism, which is like there's a huge amount of shot selection that goes into legs.
Agreed.
So
let's shut the fuck up about minutia. We're gonna watch this polearm fight again because it was hilariously good.
All right, so let me know when you wanna kick it. 1, 2, 3, go. Like, I just want to watch this fight again because it was brutal as shit. The beginning was very, very aggressive.
That's it.
That
like,
opening rush is
this is where
insane.
they start. Like, just steps in, bang, bang.
Very nice block. And he's excellent defensive skills. He's fouling so many of those incoming shots and returning shots that are going through unabated. Like, guy is not hitting him with anything.
What he needs to be doing is raising his bottom hand a little bit higher, like not raising it up the shaft, but raising it physically higher to then bring the angle of the stick and the axe head over it so he can get away from that push block that he's throwing.
He's using a longer halberd. I would back the fuck up.
Yeah, really. He was standing right on the barrier.
Well, I mean, you're fighting a guy who's a bit smaller than you, has a bit shorter reach than you, with a shorter halberd than you in close range. I would back up. The guy is taller, he has longer arms, he has longer legs, he has a longer shaft. I would stay further away and throw.
I mean, realistically, right there in that second round, they just kind of bop, 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 bop. They didn't make any points off of 5 blows that each threw. Because they were both blocking him out with the same chop kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do like this crossover using the bottom hand to push the gear a little bit, maybe move him around a little bit more, and then just that was a good chop.
Oh, that was very nice, yeah. I like how his the shaft of his halberd is recurved. Mm-hmm. It's like curved backwards a bit.
They both are.
I find that's really interesting.
Well, it's because they chop down a sapling, and that's the polearm. They just get new trees.
But it creates an interesting angle.
Yes, it does.
Because it's like it lies dimensionally right about your weapon.
Yeah.
Because when we see the weapon in motion, we make all kinds of assumptions about its like statistics and dimensions in order to be able to do distance management and like prediction and shit. So like the fact that there's a slight recurve to it, I wonder how much that plays into his ability to land shots.
I think realistically, I would have turned the stick around and have it bending forward with my axe head on the front of it. So
Like
all of these push
like
blocks, the common push blocks, that negates it. Okay, we're going on to the sword buckler stuff.
Are we just rolling? Let's just let it roll.
It seems like a good play. I'm at 1 second of the next
Yeah, me
fight.
too, I'm just rolling. I'm at like 7 now, so I'll just back up a couple seconds.
Just pause it real quick. Okay, they're standing. This is sword and
Cool.
buckler. They got really tiny shields.
Ooh.
They're both
All
real
right, here we
open.
go. Nice footwork from the fighter in yellow. Is up on his toes.
Yeah,
Very reactive.
He's
Fighter
trying to
in
do
white
the
seems
up
to be a lot
down.
more static.
yeah. The guy in the yellow is trying to play the up down game, trying to
Guy in
make him
yellow's a
change
lefty.
level.
Guy in yellow is a lefty.
Yes, he is. And I don't think the other guys realized it.
I don't know how to call this one.
That's kind of an awkward one.
They're even. I would say they're even here.
Nope. I think they call. I think
There we
they.
go. Yeah. So that lefty, recognizing that somebody is a lefty is an important skill.
It very
Because
much so
the moment you
is.
realize that somebody is a lefty, you have to change your entire strategy, and that's like I've told a lot of people that you have to train your lefty recognition skills because I'm particularly slow at it. It always takes me a couple seconds. I know people who see that shit fucking immediately.
So, like the first, whenever I notice a lefty, I have fought multiple lefties and
Very
not
nice.
realized they're lefties. Oh, there they go. They get all tied up and junk.
Yeah, and then you start throwing lots of offsides because you think, oh, I want to throw into the sword arm, and you don't realize your strategy should be 100% flat snap.
If here's my shield on my left hand, I bring it all the way across my body, and I'm protecting over here so I can immediately drop to the hip. And I've got my sword over here across my head and angled out, so I'm basically closed up right here. And then I can throw offsides to wraps to Molinese to chops, and I can void out that lefty throw.
Are we still rolling, by the way?
I think so. Like, these fights are fast. Never mind.
So yeah, we're still going here. So we got the yellow. These guys. See, it's like this is the issue that I have with it is that it becomes a very spammy fight, and you get a reduction of technicality because you just want to nail those.
Okay,
first
where
five points.
what
That was
fighter?
a very nice.
What fight are you in? What fight are you in right now?
I was at the second men's fight.
Restart the second men's fight.
All right.
So I think they're just doing one-offs. They're not doing two out of
Yeah,
threes.
They're doing 2 rounds.
Are they? This is only
Yeah.
a 36-second video.
That's how long it takes, dude.
Okay, play. Fuck it.
First round over. Going to the second round. I really like his hanging guard, the white and green fighter's hanging guard, but I
Yep.
don't like this thing. I hate it when people do this. I think this is bad.
Yeah.
It creates a rhythm. I don't like creating rhythm. I like breaking rhythm.
Go ahead and pause when you get done this video.
Done. So it's like I don't like. So I want to just qualify what I just said because I don't like creating a rhythm that you don't then break, is what I wanted to say. So what I mean by that is that I see a lot of people, when they do this kind of a thing, they just kind of stay trapped in this, right? And they do this, and they do it so much that you can predict, a lot of what's going to be coming next from, how they position themselves. So I really like, if you're going to do stuff like this, break it very quickly, or do it in like an erratic, really unorthodox kind of a way, because you're going to be triggering all of your opponent's like fight senses when you do that shit. They're going to be watching you. Even a bad fighter is going to be watching you, and even a bad fighter is going to be able to track you through this bullshit. So if you're doing stuff like this, because it's comfortable, because it helps you set up power, because it like helps you flow and stuff, there's all kinds of reasons that people do that. But if you're doing that, like, use that as a weapon.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Like, half steps, feints, using different things. Like, we all talk about a count in our brain, like the fight clock in our brain, and how we set our motions and everything else like that. You need to like throw a staccato in there, like go ba ba instead of ba 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 ba.
Music Music theory helped me a lot with that. I played a variety of instruments growing up, and that helped me a lot in terms of understanding like rhythm and tempo and like beats of a fight. Because if you're not like a manual guy and you haven't read stuff like Fiore, you're not really necessarily up to speed with exactly how tempo works in a fight. Like the idea of like I can do something and then you can do something, and then even if you have like two things, right? Because some people think like, oh man, if I had two weapons, I could attack twice as fast, or I could attack twice as much. And that's not really the case, because the way beats work in the term of like fight rhythm is like, regardless of what you do, there's always a point where you have to stop what you're doing, and in between two actions the opponent is going to be doing something. So generally it's I do something and you do something, and then I do something and you do something, right? But if you're counting in terms of how music works, everything is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm acting on the 1 and you're acting on the 2, but in between 1 and 2 there's that beat, there's another beat there. Right, and if you could break that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and instead of acting on 1 and 2, you act on 1 and right. So that kind of speaks to your whole staccato idea, right? So instead of going like bop, 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 you go bop, bop.
Yep. And that's I used to like bang on a trash can while I was at practice. I'm like, here's the beat. But you need to change how you strike, and I would have them on an axe pel, and I would make them do. They wouldn't be able to be on beat. I'm like, you cannot fight on beat. You have to fight off beat, and you have to do different things to change up your thing. And trying to train that idea for doing singles guys, also for doing melee guys. I'm like, look, if you're like in a square off standoff kind of thing, and you can set up a little bit of a beat that you've got going in your brain, but then you knock them the fuck out with a left hand straight. In that and beat, that catches them left side, off their fucking cuff, and put them on the ground the quick as hell.
Well, that's how feints and fakes work. Right? And like the fundamental principle under a fake or a feint is to like do half motions so that you're getting them on their tempo to react to the wrong thing, so you can break the rhythm with something else. Because if we're looking at it like if you want to do like a flat snap left straight fake combination rather than bop bop, right? So,
who's your RY? Who's RY?
RY is Rowan, and he's a guy from Canada. I'm going to be touching on his question in a second. He asks, I'm very right dominant. How would you recommend I try and bring up my left to match? So I'll touch on that in just a second. So the idea, right, is to try to throw in the middle of their reaction. So you're taking advantage of them reacting to the wrong beat, the wrong part of the rhythm, and you're breaking that rhythm by throwing something, on the hand rather than on waiting for them to then block and then wait for the tempo to come back to you, kind of a thing. So to move on. So I'm very right hand dominant. How would you recommend I try and bring up my left to match? So no, I don't think you should train your left hand. I think personally, my approach, and this has always been my approach, and I've trained a variety of high-level sword and shield fighters. My approach is, if you're a righty, you train your right hand to use your sword and your left hand to use your shield. They do fundamentally different jobs, and the cross-training, like, there are some people who are like, oh, it's like I have to, like, even out my musculature, so it's like, otherwise I'll be like, this muscle will be big here, and this muscle will be big here. If you have proper training, just in general, like, good training practices, you'll have equalization on both sides. So
your muscles will be trained to do different things, though.
That's important. That's very, very important, because specialization in terms of biomechanics allows you to be smaller and better at a certain motion, because your body gets very used to it becomes very efficient at doing a particular task. So you don't need to have like a huge muscle in order to perform a particular movement if your body is very used to doing that movement. And that's a fundamental principle of musculature and biomechanics that you can go and look up on your own if you're interested.
Speaking to that.
In terms of polearm, sorry.
Speaking to that, it's not just about the size of the muscle, like being off kilter or whatever. It is about the muscle memory you build. If you want to train, if you want to bring your left hand up to the level that you're right hand dominant, basically you have to train the left hand. He says not to train the left hand. He means by swinging his sword. I'm talking about. Well, sometimes I have people just swing at me, and I'm defensive, and I just try to use the shield as my defensive thing to pick up the blocks quick enough. When normally in a fight, I try to move my shield as little as humanly possible. Realistically, I try to move my body out of the way, or move, like, shift my body around in whatever stance I'm in to make it as efficient as humanly possible, so I don't have to move that shield from where I'm trying to block my face, or if I'm blocking a guard. He's got a really good hip chop that I'm trying to block out. I'm ready for that hip chop kind of thing.
Here's an example. So I use a sword and shield style that's very unorthodox compared to like 99.9% of the like global sword and shield meta. And I fight normally, like if I'm seriously competitive in my fight, if my opponent scares me and I have to fight at my 100% best, I fight in an A-frame.
Yeah.
Right. And in all of my tournaments, you can see tons of my footage. In all of my tournaments, when I'm fighting somebody that I take seriously, you can see the moment that I do, I go into this position, and I'm able to maintain this position with my shield forever. Right? And that isn't because like my arm is fucking beast as fuck, right? It isn't because I'm like I have the biggest biceps in the world. It's simply because that I've trained for years to be in this position forever.
You've trained that level of endurance
quickly. So it's like I'm not the biggest, most jacked dude, but I have more shield arm endurance than in this position than anybody I know.
Mine's all right here.
Yeah, that one's good too. Like down near shoulder level.
Yeah,
is good too. But like when you're like, I use a center grip shield too. So I mean, there's a difference in terms of the tension on your wrist and like where where your muscles in your forearm are flexing and stuff. Than if you're in a strap, and in a strap you can have an open hand and be in that position, so there's less tension. Whereas with a center grip shield, you have to have a firm grip, otherwise, you can't properly hold your shield and shit. So I mean, there's a difference in terms of how your musculature is, and this position, right, is not an easy position with equipment and armor for people to keep. Yeah. This position is very, very difficult for most people, and you can see that even at high-level duels, when people get into this position, they're not able to maintain it for very long because most people are used to a squared position. And that's why there are fighters like Marcin that stick out so much in Sword and Shield, because Marcin, in particular, he has like an excellent condition in terms of his ability to maintain that forward stance, especially with a heater shield with the dimensions that he has. That's a whole discussion that we'll have one day.
Yeah.
When we go like super technical, because now I'm starting to get all like autistic in my.
We're getting real minutia. Rowan, you ask in the case of the polearm, being able to switch left to right would still be beneficial. It is very beneficial to switch up sides with the polearm because it is such a mentally to your opponent, it is such a thing. I don't want to get hit with that fucking polearm because it's fucking huge, right? Like there's that fear in the back of their head. They might not like, it's not really a thing that we understand. It's just a fear in the back of our head because we're human and we like no broken bones happen. So being able to switch left and right with a polearm is very important, in being able to aim in both sides. If you want to train for polearm to make yourself a better duelist, you take your tire, you take your Pell, you take a piece of tape, a piece of electrical tape or sports tape, and you put it on there, and you make your decision. You have to hit that fucking tape. You don't hit anything around that tape, and you need to be able to hit that tape at specific angles, and being able to raise up and do different shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I also use that drill. It's very, very good.
I train everybody with short, like anybody that's trying to do melees with short axes. I set it up. I'm like, here's your gap. There's the shoulder gap. There's the hip gap.
You got to hit that.
That's what you have to hit. You're not trying to hit plates. I want you to hit body.
Yeah, like my philosophy in terms of my approach to halberd is a little different because I'm not ambidextrous. I'm not comfortable doing this. I just can't do it. And I've been sword fighting for a very long time. I have a lot of experience with two-handed weapons. I main two-handed weapons on the field, and like switching to right hand up for me is like my not ideal position. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. If the angle is just impossible for me to get otherwise, I'll do it. But my preference is to try to find the angle that I can throw with my left, or switch targets, because I'm just not, no matter how I slice it, no matter how much I train it, I'm just not as efficient. So my advice to somebody who's asking, well, how much time do I contribute to training in the inverse hand position? That's entirely up to you and what your comfort zone is, because there are preferences that you will have mechanically that you can overcome to a certain degree, but I think that you got to build to your strengths and shore up your weaknesses. So you should be focusing in terms of your best shot. You got to focus on where your best shot is, and then you got to focus on where your worst shots are. If your worst shots are in this position, you got to train this position, but you got to understand that it's never going to be as good as your preferred position, just by virtue of your own personal preferences.
I think for polearm singles training, being able to switch to your offhand, whichever situation that is, if you're fighting lefty, goofy, or whatever the fuck else, I think switching over to that other hand, if you can make it so you can hit that slot shot, you can hit the gap that you want to hit, aim small, miss small. Like the Patriot told me everything I needed to know about fighting people. So if you can switch it over and you can make like 2 or 3 slot shots that are really fast, they will and you land them because you switched hands and they're not used to it yet, and you land them, they will then immediately be fucking worried, and then you switch over to where you're comfortable again, then you pummel the fuck out of them on that side, and you can take advantage of the fact that you've put them offset. And that is and that's just situating yourself, making your offhand side, like when you change it for a polearm, they're not going to be used to it because you've been fighting the way you regularly fight normally. So when you switch it up, even just for like 5 seconds, just to throw them through a fucking loop and to change the pace real quick, changing that pace changes the fight usually in their brain pretty fucking hard. So if you can take advantage of that and then switch over to your strong side again, and then you can lay them out and just keep them on the back foot, I think that's really the big thing about duels, is keeping your opponent uncomfortable as fuck. Like, make them be guessing.
I agree with you. I think in a points context, you make a good point, to use the same word again, but in a points contest, it's salient. It's salient, and I would say that it's salient because the goal is to score points.
Yeah.
The goal is not necessarily to one-shot KO somebody. And in terms of like what your best shots are to knock somebody out.
They're usually the most strong ones.
You can knock somebody out in a duel and you'll win the duel.
Yeah.
But like I like if. Like, you're not wrong, and there's a ton of different ways to approach it. There's a ton of different flavors. So I would say you got to do what works best for you ultimately, and not everything works for everybody. Not every training advice and not every strategy works. So like for me, switching this way is not how I would roll. I would figure it out this way.
Now, are you talking in a singles or a melee sense? Because in a melee sense, I'm gonna use your strong side and knock them the fuck out.
Yeah. But for me in general, like even when I'm scoring points, like if I'm fighting longsword, for example, I fight longsword left hand up. I'm not going to switch to right hand up, ever.
I fight right hand up because I know that I can throw the offsides and in the Molinet and shit like that. I can throw that perfectly with my right hand up. I know what I'm doing there.
Right. So it's kind of the same thing. Like I'm not going to switch if I don't need to. Like, why am I switching? What advantage does it give me in terms of angles? Why can't I hit those angles here?
Yeah.
So like, whatever. Like,
I get you.
Experience will save you there. Matthias Sobjorg? Is that how you say his name?
Sobjorg? Yeah, Borg.
Is that how I pronounce his name?
I just call them the Borg twins because that's how we knew them.
Borg twins.
Yeah, the Borg twins.
No, I don't want to do him a disservice by mispronouncing his name. So
I completely agree, and he'll probably yell at me at some point, though.
So, bro, disagree. That is not just a show off. That defense with the hands is 6 strong defense stands.
That's from a very long time ago. That's from you talking about going back and forth up here in the air, like bringing his guard high.
Oh, no. Like having a high guard with your hands or a hands forward defense and like posting and presenting, those are 6 strategies. I'm just talking about setting up a rhythm and doing this, right? Like as a preamble to your shots, not in a way of like, but we've already hashed that over.
Yeah, we've already gone. No, Matthias, you're not wrong. They all do it their own way, and we all will fight our own damn way. Like, not one thing is going to be a thing, but if you could take little tidbits from everybody, that's, like, all the information I put out is purely fucking opinion from a person that's just been watching a shit ton of tape and, like, fighting people for a while. You can take the small parts and take that and use them, and tweak your own game to make it that much better.
I mean, that's why I'm always talking about, like, random-ass martial arts stuff. Like with you and Ringo in the stream when I was like, bros, we gotta watch sumo, right? And Ringo's like, I don't understand how this is going to be relevant.
It's extremely relevant.
And I'm like, it's not like you take the thing, right, and you transpose it in entirety, and you're like, oh, this thing is 100% applicable. It's not, but it's about like overriding technique philosophies. Like, this kind of technique works in this kind of a situation. Maybe I can use something similar. Maybe if I like sweep the leg like this, and when I have this kind of a grip, maybe I can do it like this. Oh, that's
works. The evolution of fighting, though. That's what fighting is, and that's how you like evolve your fighting style to be the most dangerous fucking warrior there humanly can be. Like, my thing is how efficiently can I murder somebody? That is my thought process. How can I efficiently kill people?
But I mean, like, if you want to be historical for a second, in terms of the development of fight theory, right? If you look back to like knights and samurais, both had this in common, and they're completely different parts of the world that are totally isolated from each other at their respective Middle Ages, right?
Yes.
And both knights and samurais had the approach that a warrior had to also be cultured and had to have diverse interests, right? And have to be literate and be philosophically informed, be educated, right?
They had to be smart motherfuckers.
Of theology, because all of these different things, in their own weird-ass ways, inform fighting, right? Cooking informs fighting, right? And people will look at me. I love cooking, and people look at me and they're like, "Oh, how is cooking related to fighting?" And I'm like, because in cooking, right, your end result, whatever you produce, is not only a result of your process, but it's a result of your ingredients, right? And in fighting, it's the same thing, right? Because each component of your technique is an ingredient. Each component of your fight strategy are ingredients. So it's like there's a lot of different philosophies from outside of fighting that can be used to inform it. We were talking about music. That's another example. Music isn't fighting, right?
No.
But music can inform fighting. So it's like, fuck, you learn to play. I love playing the drums. That was one of the instruments I spent the longest time in my life learning. And that taught me a lot, right, about wrist movement, right, and being able to use your wrists, right, is really important when you're throwing flat snaps. You know, so a lot of people have issues with the wrist snap. But if you learn to play drums or bongos or djembes or something, you learn naturally, right, to snap your wrist.
To do all the motions and everything. Like, I think it's more like all of those things train your small muscle memory. Like, that is a big thing. Like, me playing bass for a long time, being able to do all the plucking and everything else like that. Just big tall basses too. Like, I played the stand-up bass for 14 years.
Okay, now we're going to talk about bass. So
no. Stop.
No, I need to know. Do you slap?
I did slap. I did a bunch of like rockabilly stuff. I played some jazz slap.
My favorite style of drums is funk.
Yeah, funk is hilarious.
I gotta get a drum set. You gotta like bust out a bass. And we gotta just go
I know.
Dude.
Believe me.
Oh my god. All right, this is a conversation. I played sax too.
Matthias says he's with you now. He misunderstood you. Let's go on. Let's go on to the next fight. This is women's sword and buckler.
Women's fights. Nice. All right, let's see what's going on here.
I'm on 0 and start.
Going.
I haven't seen a lot of women's sword and buckler because they don't do it in the States. The leg chop.
Solid.
Big, nice. Using that Molinet. That Molinet comes in.
Offside sword block. I really like sword blocks.
Yeah, I do too.
Ooh, purple is very good. Ooh, purple, super good.
Yep. She going to that like A-frame, like almost A-frame guard to drop that Molinet in there.
Ooh, she's throwing the slot shots. She's throwing the offside slot shots.
Yep.
Very nice shot selection she pulled the legs back into that kind of a I call that the fairy prance.
Yep.
When you pull both the legs back.
Void the leg.
I like how she's going to the slot shot or the Molinet. You could call this both a slot shot and a Molinet when it's from that hanging guard position.
What the Molinet is the turnover. Like here the Molinet is the turnover.
Okay, so we're gonna get super annoyingly technical.
God damn it.
All right. So technically, any move where you rotate your thumb over is a Molinet. Right? So here's like an argument I had that lasted like 70 million hours, right? If this is a flat snap, right?
Yes.
And this is a Molinet, right? Is this a flat snap or is this a Molinet?
That's a very okay. So
right. You see what I'm saying?
You're throwing it like this?
So I'll make it even more complicated. And if this is a slot shot, is this a Molinet?
That's how I know it is a Molinet.
Right?
So
well, I know a Molinet is specifically this motion.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Right?
Like when I'm coming from here and then I go to here.
But if you're here and you're rolling over the thumb, right? Like if you're throwing a flat snap from a hanging guard, right, which is from this position, and you throw it like this.
Yeah.
Right? This is a Molinet because you're rotating over the thumb.
I get it, but it's still a flat snap.
I know.
The reference, I think the reference in the usage of Molinet is going for a vertical blow on a rollover. I think that's how we know it, like how I know it in my brain, because I come from rattan fighting. So,
Right.
like, most of my sword fighting has some kind of rattan fighting tie to it. Like, when I throw a flat snap, when I start here in my guard and I throw the flat snap, I actually end up like this. This is how my hand ends, but it's usually up higher, because I'm bringing the sword tip to the side of your helmet, and I'm bringing the sword body above your shield edge.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that throw. That's like a more Bellatrixy flat snap, like a more faithful to the OG Duke Paul flat snap. Whereas my flat snap is really like the trigger finger.
Yes.
Out, which is like a later Duke Paul kind of a thing. Right. Like, depends which kind of which Paul video you're looking at it, if you're referring to the Bellatrix School website or not and shit. But it's like you can either be like fully V'd or you could be more like pistol grip.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of different technicalities to it. Captain Zorik says the Molinay leads into a slot shot. The Molinay is the beginning of the slot shot. The snap is the end. Ooh. No. That's not true, because the slot shot itself can be thrown from a variety of positions. So you could be from a stable position, right, when like sword on shoulder, and your slot shot is just straight down. It's not like you don't have to Molinay into a slot shot. A Molinay particularly means, to moulin in French means to spin.
Yes.
So like a moulinet in French is to do this, like churning butter, for example, is moulinet, or like using a whisk. This like mixing something is moulinet.
Yeah.
So to moulin, it implies that there's some kind of a spin or a twist.
It's
now,
where we get the word muddle from, by the way.
Exactly. So when you're throwing the slot shot, you could be in this position, and this is a slot shot.
Yes.
You don't have to. You don't even if you're in this position, this is a slot shot. You don't have to like Molinay to throw the slot shot, and the Molinay comes with your thumb up, right? So it means that if you're in this position, you're ending in this position.
Yeah.
Versus a slot shot, when you're in this position, you're ending in this position, right? Which is your thumb is pointing out this way, and the tip of your sword is pointing this way, versus coming in almost with the back of the blade that way, right? And the advantage to the Molinay versus the slot shot is that the Molinay can go out, right? And snake that offside angle where you can target the wrist and the forearm, or you can snake on the inside, that offside part of the chest when you throw in like that. So I mean, it's not like fundamentally, it's not the same shot, although it can be the same shot. So that's my response.
Zorik is referencing to the specific example we were using. I get what Zorik understands and he agrees. By the way, like Zorik is actually the guy that put me in armor the first time, because he got hurt at an Eastern Regional event and he put me in his gear because I was just at the practice watching.
So tell me about this guy. Who's this guy? Hey, dude,
he did announcing for 2015 IMCF. He's done announcing for a couple of the IMCF tournaments.
That's dope.
He was one of the first group of dudes going over and doing stuff. Like Zorik's been around for a good while. Goofy bastard.
Wow. What up, senpai?
But realistically, like the reference of a slot shot, I think a slot shot can be taken from any way. It's just going in between the two defenses. That's how I look at a slot shot. Or if I'm looking at a very specific part of your chest armor or a leg, I'm like, I'm going to shoot this slot real quick.
Specifically the slot between the sword and the shield, right?
Yes, that's usually what I'm aiming for.
Slot shot, because you're throwing in the slot. Yeah, either that or like the slot shot can also be that space between the sword and the shield when somebody's in a hanging guard and you come in that. Yeah, okay, nice. I'm happy we use the same terminology.
That was one thing that I thought was going to be a hang up for us, is that we use different nomenclature, and I didn't want us to fuck up each other just trying to figure out what the fuck we were talking about. So at least we're on the same page.
That's important, because some people will call this the snapshot, and some people will call this the flat snap, but some people will differentiate the flat snap.
It's a tick-tock, don't you know? That's the tick.
What's
tick-tock? Tick-tock.
Tick-tock?
Yeah, that's what it's called in rattan fighting.
Offside?
Yeah, tick-tock. Yeah.
No, I'm going to use that. I never heard that before.
That's the rattan combination. You throw the tick-tock.
Do you guys use helicopter? Is helicopter a term?
You mean the
infinite flat snap? No. Helicopter is infinite flat snaps and offsides.
No. What are you fighting in foam or some bullshit? When I fight in rattan, no. When I fight with rattan, I have to really hit people because I live in Atlantia. I'm not a part of Atlantia. I'm a two-chuck. Okay. I have to fight Atlantia. They are the thug sticks. They are the heavy-handed motherfuckers. You have to hit them really hard to make them take it.
But that's like easy. Sticks are super light.
You say that, but it's not. I'm telling you. I have power generation.
Some people are thickness does not equal skill, bro. Okay?
Believe me,
and
I
that's
fucking
the
understand.
thing I hate about the SCA is like you could just be like, no, I didn't feel that.
I live here.
It's not good.
I already have a target painted on my chest because I am a two-chuck. Like, people don't like taking my blows, even though I go out and I make them look bad. And I just go, that's fine. That's on your honor. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to hit you more.
That's the thing that pushed me away from the SCA almost immediately.
That's agreeable.
Is that you're like, bro, I just fucking snapped you in the fucking face, and you're just like... I'm like, dude, okay, so physically, I'm unable to hit you any harder than 100%. And I know the shot I gave you was good because I'm a competitive sword fighter and I train my ass off. So just because you're wearing a 40mm thick helmet and you're 17 million pounds and your head is like a jar, doesn't mean that my shot wasn't good, right? If you can just, like, come on, like, all right, I'm gonna talk some shit now because now I'm
no.
So, oh my god, so Ice Falcon, right? Okay, so I remember the first time I saw Ice Falcon duel, and I didn't understand because the duel lasted forever, and he was getting laced up with all kinds of shit. And I remember talking to my sword master and being like, "Who is this guy?" Okay, because remember, I'm Canadian. Our SCA meta is different. We don't really know you guys the way you guys know us, right? So it's like I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I met Andre. He's a super nice guy, and there's nothing against him. Like I don't know him personally. I know him in a very particular context, and in the context I met him, he was a total nice guy to me. So he's 100% chill, no disrespect. But I didn't understand because I was still learning, and I see this guy getting laced the fuck up, right? He was just getting, like, these guys were just fucking bombing into each other the entire fight. The fight lasted fucking forever.
That was a crown fight, right?
Yeah, you even know what I'm talking about.
So
I believe this was the fight that led him, like, that Ice Falcon became, like, a thing, right?
Sure.
Where he was like so extra thick. This is what I was told. I don't know shit.
I don't know how long ago this was. He's been in the SCA for 30 odd fucking years, dude.
Yeah, and he's a super Duke, right?
Yes, he
is. Been Duke twice, kind of thing. Yeah. So guy is very well known, and he's good. He's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter, but it's like being a good fighter and then just like having like thick ass armor and like the no pain receptors. I don't know if that should qualify as good fighting. Like you hit me in the face and I just say no. To me, is not like sport.
He's a Marine.
Sporting. So?
He's a Marine. No, that should explain everything to you. No. It's not a reasoning. It's not a defensive thing. It's just an explanation. Okay. God love the Corps. God love the Corps. Thank you all for doing what you are. But sometimes crayons, fellas. I don't know. Let's go on to the next fight.
All right. So just tell me when you're rocking it.
Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Oh, so what do we got going?
I'm very passionate about Sword and Shield, as you can see.
I completely agree with you. I am with you. This is men's again. I think this is men's.
Very snappy.
Yes. That left the red guys got their shield moving a lot.
Yeah, that fighter from Poland. Is this men? This is men's. Okay.
This is men's.
Yeah, see, this kind of movement style, I'm not a fan of because Yellow is timing him now.
Yeah, he is timing
the shield movement. Oh, that was very nice control of the shield when he grabbed the buckler. He grabbed the opponent buckler.
I'm gonna scoot that back. I'm gonna take. Well, let's just we'll restart at the end of this.
Yeah, so
this is a really bad angle.
My strategy for lefties is flat snaps.
Yeah.
Relentless, like super aggressive, relentless to death flat snaps. I never throw offsides on lefties. I only throw flat snaps, and I abuse the shit out of the fact that they are bad at defending flat snaps.
I'd be throwing a feint, like sell the flat, but then drop it to the hip.
Yeah,
they're gonna bring it up and you just drop it down.
Flat combos,
yeah,
and fakes on that side because they're bad at sword blocks to the leg and they have to turn the sword down or some shit.
Yeah,
I'm completely on with you there. But like, too many people fight lefties with offsides, and that's because they don't realize, one, that the dude's a lefty, and two, that like being a lefty means you are fucking bad at defending offsides.
Yes,
so whoever is watching, if ever you find yourself fighting a lefty, remember this one guiding philosophy is always throw flat snaps, throw nothing else but flat snaps, and be relentless. You will absolutely destroy them.
Lay off the blues, guys, please. Crayon rations are low this year. I agree.
That wasn't Poland. I was sure that tabard was the Polish tabard.
It's not Polish. I think it's Alexei Petrik's wife, or what she is. No, that's men's. This is men's.
That was men's. Yeah.
I backed it all the way up to the beginning. We're gonna rewatch.
Yeah, I'm going again.
Go.
Yeah, man, that looks like a Poland tabard with the.
It really does, doesn't it? With the white
festoons
eagle
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the festoons. I think that's not a Tannenberg tabard. Maybe I'm wrong.
I do think the lefty has a very good the guy in red has a very good in close guard with his shield because they blocked out like 5 blows with it.
But it's like, yeah, getting that flat snap to the head was so good. Yellow is very, very good.
Yes, he is.
Yellow is incredibly good.
Also, like almost a head taller than the red fighter.
It's a big advantage.
It is.
In terms of range and reach and stuff and position. It's always better to throw down than it is to throw up. Ooh, got into a bad position there, and Red's pushing forward. Red should win that round. I would say Red should absolutely win that round.
We started at different times.
No, but didn't they call time around like 7 times in that fight?
No, they kept fighting for like 2 more strikes, and that was about it.
You think that's Petrick? Matthias is saying that's Petrick?
No, is that Petrick?
That's not. Petrick is bigger than that. Petrick's a super heavyweight. That guy is not Petrick. No way.
He's too short to be Petrick.
Petrick is pretty short though, but that guy is too small to be Petrick. Is that? I really don't think that's. You say it's 99% it's Petrick?
Really?
I just watched like 3 pro
Well,
fights
wait a
with
minute.
Petrick.
Their names should show up in English, don't they? No.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna look at the description here.
I was just looking at it. It's all in Cyrillic.
Yeah, hold on. Google Translate this shit.
Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong. I think I'm on the wrong video now. There we go. I'll back up one. We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it again for those in chat. What's going on, John? They are the only ones in Russia always fighting with that red and white on, and that's a Polish eagle though. It's a Polish bird, or maybe it's a chicken. It's an eagle with a crown. That's Polish, isn't it? What's Google Translate say?
This says it's Malyugin versus Bobko. I took their names and I put their names into Russia to English Google Translate, and it says Malyugin versus Bobko.
Okay, sure. Whatever works.
So, I'm just gonna like if that's right, I'm gonna shout out to my own Alexei Petrick, Where's Waldo recognizing skills. So just if that's right, because that guy doesn't look like he's a super heavyweight. I'm just saying, like neither of these guys look like they're that big.
Happy birthday, John! Turned 21 yesterday. Ooh,
who?
One of the guys in chat.
Oh shit! Turned 21.
Happy birthday!
Congratulations.
I'd say I'd do a shot, but I don't drink. So.
Then it's his gear or something.
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
Maybe. You know what? I will give you a maybe it's his gear.
I'm on to the next video, and I'm at 0-0. This is Men 4F.
Because man, Petrick just released a video. I'm just responding to Matthias there. Because Petrick just released this video, right? Where it's just like a challenge. How many strikes can you do in 20 seconds? Guy fucking powered out 64 shots in 20 seconds.
What?
Yeah, my friend Josh is working on that challenge, and he says he's at 61, and I'm like, man, I gotta start doing. I'm on a drill break because I'm doing stuff for tendonitis.
Yeah.
So I'm on 3 weeks of no drills, but after that that's a drill I'm working in.
Jesus.
Josh is saying that was Petrick's wife fighting for the guys. Okay, all right, okay, hold on, everybody, calm the fuck down. Okay, so first off, okay, 1, she's fucking strong. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that. So if that's Petrick's wife. She's fucking strong.
Good for her.
If she's wearing Petrick's armor, okay, then she somehow fits into it really well. And 3, I still maintain that I have really good Alexei Petrick recognizing skills.
I don't know why though, because there's women's fighting at the same tournament.
Yeah, but like why not?
I understand that, but as a tournament organizer, how would that make sense?
I don't know.
It's Russian.
Probably not. If you're the tournament organizer, that's probably not your bag. Probably somebody made a decision somewhere.
Probably not.
Or it was like a last second thing.
Yeah.
Or she was just like, yo, these girls suck too much. I want to fight the boys.
Granted points.
She wanted a piece.
She wanted a piece.
I like that. She's like, I want a piece of this shit.
Okay. Next fight's 4F. 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
My whole body is ready.
Go. This is more sword and buckler, I believe.
Let's do it.
Look at it. Ooh, touch tips. A lot of
Alright, here
movement
we
out of the bright red fighter. Good,
See, so this
good
guy,
distance.
there's a higher likelihood that this guy is Alexi Petrick. Just because of the size. Oh, Burgundy Brigandine stepped in really aggressively.
They're swinging a lot at the legs. They're allowing legs, dude.
They always allowed legs.
It's sword and buckler.
One of the biggest criticisms of Sword and Buckler is they allowed legs.
We had this discussion that I asked if they were fighting the same style that we do, hips up.
Oh wait, you guys fight hips up?
Yeah.
You can't shoot at the legs?
No.
Why?
Because it's stupid.
But
it's an easy
you
shot.
have legs.
It's an easy shot.
That's if you're bad.
Bro, it's an easy shot no matter what. I could hit your
That's
legs.
because,
At will.
I mean, yes, but also you're bad then.
I can hit your legs at will.
You're bad.
Why am I
You're
bad?
If you're getting hit. You're bad. If you're getting hit, you're bad. Sorry. Period.
Okay, sure. It's been like that since I've been in fighting.
If you're getting hit, it's because you're bad.
Quit saying that I'm getting hit because I'm not the one who gets hit in the legs. I hit other people in the legs.
I mean, that means you're good then.
Generally, yes.
They're bad. That means they're being bad in that context. Because if you're hitting them and they're not hitting you, they're bad.
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You gotta not get hit while hitting the other guy. And if the guy is hitting you, that means he's better than you. That means you're bad.
I agree. Next fight. What is this? Jesus Christ. It is him.
That's
I just
hilarious.
found old photos of them both.
If you're getting hit, you're bad. Words of a genius.
Yeah, words of a genius. There you go. If you're getting hit, you're bad at fighting.
You're just bad. If you're getting hit, you're bad. Every time you get punched in the face, right, if you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's a saying in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu about BJJ guys who go into MMA, you know, you punch a black belt in the face, he becomes a brown belt.
Just demotes him.
Right? So every time you get punched in the face, right, you get worse. And that's true for everything. If you're getting hit, it means you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Don't get hit. You're the best if you don't get hit.
Ultron Prime, Miss You Rationator.
Ultron Prime. Ah, it's my buddy Leo! Leo! My dude! Long time no see. We used to work at Fujitsu together. Good times, good times. Support techs for the win, my bro. Stay strong.
How many people we got in chat right now? Shout out to chat. You guys got any questions for us? We'll answer some stuff.
Yeah, ask me anything, man. Ask me anything. How about you, Paul? Do you have any questions?
When you come to America? When you come to my part of America? When you come to my part of America?
What's your part of America? Where do you live?
Maryland.
Maryland. Interesting.
You come down here in the summertime, I'll feed you steamed crabs. I don't know if you've ever had those, have you?
That isn't like an attractive proposition to me.
They're really good.
I mean, shellfish.
Oh, wait, yeah. Do you keep kosher?
No.
Shut the fuck up. They're good for you.
Weird. They're just weird alien creatures that you're just breaking their bodies in half after boiling them alive and shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking
They taste
metal.
fucking amazing. Wait, you're telling me wait. You're telling me that you take these little guys, you put them in boiling hot water, they scream and they die. That is the most metal thing I've ever heard.
It's very metal. Deathclock is amazing.
Do you know where that quote is from?
Deathclock, man.
Thank you.
Of course
okay.
I know that. Yeah.
I would have to cut you off with the stream immediately if you didn't know where that was.
Of course I know Deathclock. But do a night fight with Europeans, bro. I have a night fight. I hope it's a pro fight.
Do it.
I really want a pro fight, but I know Ringo really wants to night fight. So it's like I may, out of just like being nice to Ringo, just opt for what Ringo wants, right? but I would prefer WMFC regulations. But I know Ringo holds a special soft spot for night fights. He wants to do his thing. So it's like there's a big possibility I'll do that. But I'm down to fight anybody. Like I'm not scared of anybody. I'm down to fight anybody. Like I love fighting. That's why we do the thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like if you want to fight me, I'm down. We can figure out how to make it work. The only problem is I'm in Canada, and Canada sucks for organizing things with people not in Canada.
Yeah.
And our own meta is small, so it's just like
I'm very aware. I'm very aware that the scream is air coming out of the show.
Everywhere else, I don't know what to do.
Believe me, dude, like, when we're actually able to hang out, I would like me, you, and Ringo to at least get in the same fucking room to talk about things instead of us being stuck over Zoom and chat and all that extraneous bullshit. And then I can obviously just, like, punch you both in the face when you're talking too much.
I mean, I talk a lot. Ringo talks a lot. So, I mean, you gotta just, like, power your way through me.
I do. Like,
yeah, I have no problem with it.
I also try to be nice to you. I try to be nice to you and let you talk.
Don't be nice to me.
I kind of have to. You're Canadian. That's like naturally.
No, I'm going to be nice to you because I can't help it.
That's a very granted point.
Yeah.
I'm on Buckler and Sword Men 1F.
1F. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go.
I love the opening animation.
It looks great.
It's like a visor.
Yep.
Badass.
There's this Polish fighter again.
It's Petric's wife again.
Yeah, Petric's wife.
Oh, see that quilted armor dueling Wimbledon.
Oh.
Or that's not a Wimbledon. Sorry, that's what is that? A Nusat? A Nusat?
No, fuck if I know.
Oof. She's very good. She's very, very good.
Yeah. Extremely.
She's actually incredible.
I think the other guy, the guy in red and black,
wow.
he is leaning forward way too much. He's bringing his legs back real hard, but he's leaning his head too far forward.
Well, this is an interesting footwork situation because right now they're fighting in they're fighting in the close stance.
Yeah.
Which you don't see very often. Which you see more often than not. So she has a lot of inside leg shots that are available. Like just in terms of how she can set up her angles, she's going to have a lot more that's available to her, and she's clearly better than the opponent.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want to watch that again.
Yeah, I backed it all the way up.
I'm rolling on that again. She's actually like legit amazing.
Yeah.
I just tripped out watching those shots. Like she is legit amazing. Like look at the quality of her shots. Right, look at her flat snaps. Look at that was May. You're gonna see. I think it's around here.
I'm watching on a different time zone. You
are. That flat snap to the head, and then the flat snap to the head followed by the one to the leg. Amazing. Technically amazing.
Are you in first? Are you in second round?
I'm right now in the second round.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Alexei Petric spotted.
Yeah, there he is.
Told you I have Alexei Petric vision. Never doubt my Alexei Petric vision.
That's definitely his wife, though.
She's very good.
And she's got a really good low leg defense. She dropped that shield all the way down there and caught it.
But see, that's why I'm saying that I don't think you need to take legs out of the equation. You're just bad for not blocking your legs. Because so many people will go in, when they rush in, you're going to rush in postured, right? Yeah. And she's going in presenting the shield, right? So when you go in presenting like this, you're creating a lot of distance between the surface of your buckler and your body, and you're increasing the size of the buckler, as opposed to stepping in postured with the buckler square in front of you. Mm-hmm. When you're in this position, right, and you come in, you have a lot less defensive opportunities, and it requires you to make bigger motions on the inside in order to be able to block. Yep. But when you present like this, right, blocking the legs becomes a lot easier because now you can shift down, and the angle that's being created cuts off a lot more.
You project your defense a lot more.
Yeah, so you don't have to do this kind of a move to block the leg when you're out like this. You can do this kind of the move and block the leg. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I stand firm. I stand firm in that the problem in a lot of circumstances, specifically with dueling, isn't the rules. It's the quality of the combatants. Specifically with Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield is very, very hard. I argue that Sword and Shield, and to the same degree Sword and Buckler, because they're essentially the same sport, or the same thing, the same kind of fight. I argue that they're the most technical of the dueling disciplines. I agree that longsword is the sport of kings, and I agree that halberd is super brutal, but in terms of like technicality, the biomechanics, the knowledge in terms of shot selection and strategy and like your overall ability and how you can have different shield shapes and how that affects everything, I think it just makes Sword and Shield like such a nuanced, specialized kind of discipline that not only is it the most difficult, but it's the one that's the least followed. People generally follow it less.
It's also the most grindy. It is a very grindy fight.
Yeah. It can be.
Like polearm, I think polearm is the most timing. Timing in polearm is extremely important. Like that's how you win polearm is timing. How you win longsword is by pacing.
I mean,
Let me fucking finish.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go for it. I'm listening.
Sword and shield is all three timing, pacing, and shot selection and defense analysis. Because it's got the most defense built in, it is the most static defense that is built in, and it also has, like, you have to go around that fucking thing and it can move. So that makes your shot selection much harder, makes your combinations much harder, and you can, and it's grindy because you can get real fucking close with each other and fight the inside game, but you're still situated with a shield and everything else like that. You still have to try and work around that. So it's more of a grind and endurance fight for that 3/4 of the time. Longsword is more about pacing and being able to take advantage of when you knock them to the side, and then you can land 4 points and then back out and defend and then go back in and do it again. That kind of shit. Polearm is like, okay, I'm going to make this man miss once, and I'm going to clodhopper him twice.
Yeah.
Kind of
Very
thing.
punish.
That's
it's all
timing.
about the punish.
Also,
I agree.
and that also goes, like, you don't actually have to, like, punish them on a polearm. You could just land 3 blows in the amount of time it takes for them to recover from that one miss. Kind of thing. That's how timing really works into that. But Sword and Shield takes all 3 of those things, and we are not going to fucking talk about Sword and Shield all goddamn night. We have been.
I just want to say that you brought up a very, very important point. And I think that the thing that makes Sword and Shield different is, and it's going to sound retarded, the shield, right? Shield is hard to use. It is the thing, because we all learn how to do this.
Yeah, we don't know how to hit people.
No, but you know what people ask me all the time when they're learning Sword and Shield, and it's the thing that I find is the hardest for students of the dueling discipline, is how do you use your shield? Like, how do I block stuff? How do I know to flare at this angle? And how do I know when to be like this? And, like, what kind of shield do I pick? And, like, how do I place my hand? And, you know, how do I aim with a corner if I'm using a heater shield? Or how do I follow the contour if I'm using a round shield or, like, a kite shield? You know, and it's like, what's the difference between being like this or, like, being like this? And how do I block like this? And then you're not even talking about how your shield interacts with their shield.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole other thing. Like,
yep.
Oh man, not only can I do all kinds of shit here, but now I can, like, do this to you. And
it's not purely a defensive weapon. Like,
oh, man,
a sword is almost purely offensive. Yes, you can block with it. Yes, you can block in position with it. It is a viable thing. You can void shots. You can foul shots with a sword. Whatever the fuck.
Right.
The shield is misconstrued as like a solely defensive, static thing. I'm like, no,
Absolutely.
Be offensive with it. I can stuff people. I push them around. I manipulate their shield. I do all kinds of other shit. I literally use it to blind them sometimes and just put it in the fucking
shield
face.
Blind.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. You just put it right in their face, and then boom, shots to the leg, and then from there you can do other setups.
Rowan, you are very correct. I'm going to interrupt him. Do not use the fucking term retarded, please.
All right, sorry.
Ya big pooper.
No problem. No problem.
So
I'll be PC.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? So yeah, so if you're of the Roland Warszaga school of thought in terms of Sword and Shield, right? Roland Warszaga is a guy who's like, he's really big in the HEMA world, and he's big because he does a reconstruction of how the round shield would have been used in, like, the Norse context, right? Like round shield and sword. So it's like, how would you use that? And he argues that it isn't about offense and defense. It's about setup and exploitation, or opportunity and exploitation, because in their context, they're all about thrust, right?
Yep.
Thrust protecting the hand, like you touch them a little bit, you're going to cut them, and they're going to bleed out and die, right? So it's all about the setup, and then boop, because that's all you need with a real sword in an armorless context is boop, and then a guy is like a water balloon. He just pops and bleeds out in 4 seconds, right? So we have to apply, in my view, my personal view, we have to apply the same principle to how we use the shield. The shield sets up and creates the opening, right? Either by limiting your ability to either use the sword or the shield and cutting off angles and stuff, or by limiting visibility or creating displacement, or, you know, creating a situation in which they can't advance on you by filling the lane. And by doing that, you create an opportunity to throw somewhere. Yeah. You have to you have to put the sword in the correct opening. It's like that kid's toy where you have to put, like, the star and into, like, the star-shaped hole. It's the exact same thing.
No, I completely agree.
Josh says, Bear, we aren't talking about Sword and Shield all night. Okay, alright, I'm done.
He's not. Don't listen to him. He's not done. He'll find a way to curl it back around.
I'm done.
Okay.
I promise.
He's a liar.
It's my like number one favorite thing of all things in the whole wide universe.
I agree. I understand. I see your passion for the Sword and Shield.
I'm on the spectrum for sure when I talk about Sword and Shield.
So in my fighting career, I started out with longsword. I started out with a big cleaver. That's what I used in foam. I then learned how to use spear and sword and board. When I got into rattan fighting, I had to start with sword and board because I didn't have gauntlets to right off. And you have to be a very good sword and boarder to be able to progress past being a sword and boarder in the two trucks, because you are a dog of the line, like protecting the shield wall. You are a part of the shield wall until you can achieve anything else. You have to be really fucking good to be able to go on to another weapons form, or you can go fuck around with stuff every now and again, but you are expected to be a part of the shield wall and to be an experienced shieldman kind of thing. So I had to get really good at fighting people with sword and shield, and I spent a lot of time being mad at my shield because it was stupid and slow. And I got over that, and I started making, and I realized the need of efficiency when it comes, like when you're doing stick tag. Efficiency is key. Like getting a guy and just getting him clean once in the perfect spot, and you set that up with the shield, it's perfect. In steel fighting, it is even more exponentially key because everything is so much heavier. Efficiency is like your main skill set that you need to build. Is body efficiency, movement efficiency, strike efficiency, how you move people and stuff like that. Like that is, I think, the top end key of it. Is efficiency, and then you go on to like actually being able to throw good shots. I mean, efficiency builds into like having sword skill and shield skill and all that kind of bullshit.
Correct.
By the way, I'm going to go to category polearm duel 1v1 and polearm playoffs. I think it's the third one down in the playlist.
The third one down. Weren't we at the end? That was the last fight.
Yeah, I know. Go to the top of the playlist, Jackie, and then count to the third one down.
Go to the third category polearm. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think this...
Hakuna Matata says, being trained by Bear, throws 3 shots, listens to Bear theorize about those 3 shots for a whole hour.
That's very true.
Can confirm. She's one of the people that I've trained, and Fanny is a member of Team Quebec, and she is a former world champion, IMCF world champion in 2018 in Scotland.
Dope.
So big ups to her, and she is one of the people that I trained in Sword and Shield. Mad respect to Fanny. But it is absolutely true that you'll throw 3 shots, and then I'll be like, okay, so let's talk about what you just did. And you'll just sit there for an hour while I'm like breaking the shit down for you, and your brain is slowly melting and dribbling out your ear. Are
you playing the video already?
Should I?
Go skip to time marker 28.
28. You're the boss.
This is Spain versus Russia.
It's Jose.
Yes. Jose had just won a gold medal at IMCF, or maybe he took silver in polearm at IMCF in 2015 in Poland, in Malbork. And this is in Prague that same year.
Jose is very, very good.
He's very good, and he's a very pretty not elderly, he is an older dude. Like, Jose's like all white and gray. But he's a real pretty guy. Good on him.
Jose is very good.
Yes, he is.
And who's he versus? He's versus Nadarov. Oh,
yeah,
man.
This is Nadarov.
Oh, dude.
I do believe Nadarov wins.
Okay, so for people in the chat, if you do not know, this is like a big boy match.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready. 3.
I'm ready. Call it out.
1, go.
Oof, big boys.
They are big fellas. Like, they're not short. I actually got to talk with Nadarov after this, and it was actually a pretty good conversation. He had somebody standing there talking with him.
Yo, look how giant they are.
This is Jeff Galley over here, hanging out.
He's another legend. Yeah, I see him on the ground there.
Yeah. And I'm somewhere in the background of this, actually. They have the barrier going. I thought this was kind of funny. You notice they're using tournament spears. Big old chop out. Big huge, two huge hits.
That was a very nice fake.
Right to the elbow. Bang! To the elbow again. Almost took it again.
Very nice.
Jose's trying to use the range, and Nadarov is just using his size because he actually outweighs Jose by about 50 pounds, 60 pounds
Jesus.
in here.
I mean, he's really good at stepping in.
Yeah.
So it's like he's really good at getting up to the barrier explosively, and Jose is having bad reactions when he gets aggressive.
And he's really choked up.
But he's stepping back. He's not making lateral movements. He's stepping directly back in a straight line. I think that's a mistake. You should absolutely be making either a move to the left or the right in order to try to foul the shot or to evade it.
Yeah.
And then you would set up your... Ooh, that looked like it was low.
Yeah.
That looked like a low blow. But I would argue that instead of backing up, you should be moving laterally and then trying to set up your own angle to counter shot. I think it's a more efficient movement strategy.
He is hitting Jose at will.
Oh,
he is choked up, and he is just
annihilated him.
They switch sides. By the way, this is an extremely rainy couple of 4 days for Botten. Like, this was like rain for 3 days, and then we have one nice day.
Oh. Oi.
They're walking around in a fucking in a pit.
Mud pit, yeah. Oof.
What is this?
Yeah, bro. You gotta. Your strategy has to be a bit different, dude.
It's just a bit.
Oh, you're expecting this guy to just stand and bang with you, and he's not. He's stepping into your shit. My Swordmaster would call it that. When somebody gets aggressive, he'd say he's stepping into your shit.
Oh, yeah, because that's what he's doing. He's stepping up, and he's stepping past your tip.
Like, he is literally inside your 5-foot square.
Yeah. Actually, my admin's making comments now. F for the nut shot.
F for the nut shot. Right, that looked low to me too.
Huge difference in aggression to Jose looks scared at best. Like, he's really not. I just think that he was really expecting a different way to fight this, and look at that. Look at that. That's rough.
That's brutal. Nadarov is very, very well known for being aggressive. He's very, very well known for being like a complete beast.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear what his corner is saying. Give him advice.
Is his corner actually saying anything?
No, it doesn't look like he's getting coached. That's something we have a big lack of in our sport in general. Is like quality team. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Are we just moving? We're just moving forward here with this?
It's all one thing. I'll pause it real quick.
I know, it's cool.
I'm at time counter 354.
All right, cool.
Well, number 54. I definitely think that is a thing, that there's a lack of like knowledgeable corners in the sport, and that's why I always walk up to whoever's going up for like a medal round or something like that. I'm like, hey, do you need a corner? And they're like, no, I got a buddy to help me like take care of my helmet and stuff. I'm like, do you want a corner?
Oh no, the answer should always be yes.
I talked to people before the tournament.
Negative, like they have no idea what they're talking about. You should always have another pair of eyes, preferably with like really good brain behind them. But you should have another pair of eyes watching what's going on, because like you have no idea really what's going on. You think you do. You're in the fight. You think you have perfect vision. You think you know what's going on. You think you're a boss. You think you have everything under control. Even when you don't have everything under control, you think you know what's going on. Mm-hmm. You do not know what's going on. Yep. You need somebody to tell you what's going on.
Most duelists, since dueling is such a very singular entity kind of thing, most duelists think that they are like the laser beam. They are so focused on this situation. They know what they're going to do. They know how they're going to deal with it. I'm like, but you don't, because you actually don't know what you're doing in the sword fight. You're running off of complete gut instinct. You can go in with a plan no matter fucking what, but I'm going to tell you what you're actually doing, and I'm going to tell you what he's actually doing, and I'm going to tell you how you need to be taking advantage of what he's doing and how you're fucking up.
Yeah, like too often, and it happens all the time with my own guys. When they go up for duels, I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna come and coach you, and they're like, no, it's cool, because they think that relationship. A lot of people, especially guys, will think that relationship is part of the alpha struggle. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm coming to tell you what to do, or
no.
When you're like, because especially when you're all the same age, right? It's like. It's hard sometimes being a captain of a team and a coach of a team, because people don't necessarily always have that desire, especially guys, to be coached. Girls have the more, like, in terms of their psychology, they tend to reach out more and tend to be more willing to learn in that kind of an environment.
Dudes are machismo. They're like, I have a bigger dick than you, shut up.
Pretty much. So it can be difficult sometimes to break that barrier and be like, look, like, I'm not trying to boss you around. I'm not trying to be like the daddy and you're the little kid and I'm going to tell you how to roll. It's like I'm coming to help you because you don't know right now what kind of help you need because you're in animal brain mode.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, it doesn't even matter that it's me. It could be anybody. It's just I'm the one who's stepping up to do it because this just I feel it's my responsibility as team captain is to back up my guys. So it's like I'm going to step up and I'm going to be like, look, like I'm going to come and coach you. I'm going to corner you. And it's like more often than not, if you persevere and you corner them, they thank you for it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I didn't know about this, or oh, I don't know about that, or like, thank you for giving me this, or thanks for motivating me for that. It's like there's a lot of, it's very useful.
Yeah. And you have to have somebody that can really like watch what is going on and see the bigger picture of the fight, not just focus on you, but they have to be focusing on the other guy and how they're moving around the ring and how you're letting control go and how you're taking control and where you're moving and how you're stepping in certain angles. And it all comes down to like really being able to take in the whole picture at once, and that's your job as a coach and as a corner. Is to take in the whole picture and then analyze it as it's happening and then pull out the shit that you need to tell him to fix or that you need to do differently or like what you're doing good. Like I always give him two good things and I'm like, here's the thing you need to be fucking doing and here's what he's doing.
The compliment sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, for example, let's say you and I were the corner for Jose in that fight.
Yeah.
Right? And Jose comes back to us at the end of first round. Okay, what I would have said to him, because we saw the corner was just standing there holding his helmet, right? So the guy is just like, he's just getting annihilated, and he comes back to the corner, and he's exhausted, and he gets nothing.
Yeah.
He gets no information, and he goes into the second round, and you see he makes no adjustment.
Yeah.
Right? So the fighting team is the fighter and the corner. And the fighter goes in and does the fighting, and the corner makes sure that the fighter is executing the strategy. So like, how about we do a little exercise? So I'm going to say one thing that I think he should have done that would have been a huge adjustment to the fight, and then you say one thing that he should have done, and then we can move on. But I think it'll give people an idea of what we're talking about in terms of how to help.
Yeah.
So Jose comes back to the corner, and we just saw him get pushed around, and every time he got stepped on, he would back up in a straight line, right? So what I would say is, Jose, when the guy comes and gets really aggressive with you, instead of backing up in a straight line and eating those shots, I want you to step laterally.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to step laterally because you'll either foul one of his shots because he won't be able to generate sufficient power and he'll hit with the shaft because you're messing up his distance, right? And you'll create new angles for yourself to be able to throw back. So I think that's an adjustment you should make.
Yep.
Right? So that's what I would say. What would you say?
I'd be saying move your hands. You are currently very close. You're only a foot and a half apart down here at the bottom. I need you to go to 2.5 feet, 3 feet apart here on the handle. I need you to start far away, like step up, like okay, step in, start swinging, but then leave and extend your reach out because you want to hit him far away because you know that Nadarov is bigger, he's stronger, and he's going to club you to fucking death. He's stepping inside of your tip, your efficient hitting range at the end of that long stick. He is stepping into it every time. You need to step back and slide the hand down, but you have to start at a wide stance and act like you're swinging from where you're standing and then leave longer.
I think like fade out, right?
Fade out, leave longer, you will get a shot. And Nadarov was actually really choked up. He had a really big choke up. He'd go to a bigger swing. He'd take advantage of it. But if Jose as he leaves can maintain, and if he moves to the side as he swings, like taking both parts,
fade out laterally.
You'd get a clean hit, he'd miss, and then you can immediately step up, choke back up, and then hit him twice. That's how you gain points on that game. Let's move on.
Yeah, solid. Let me know when you're rolling.
Okay. 354, 3, 2, 1, go. This is Jeff Galley versus the Polish fighter of Olsak? I don't know. Jeff Galley is known as the Blacksmith. He is so regular with his strikes and he's so hard with his strikes, he will flute your armor for you. And he's just hard step back.
Oh.
Just banging him, regular bang.
Yeah. See, like, Jeff Galley kind of operates on that principle of you don't need to switch your hands around.
No, he doesn't.
Right? Because you're setting yourself up and you're working two different series of techniques.
Also, the Polish fighter is not really like making Jeff move from his defensive position. I don't know what happened.
He's operating from like a high guard, and the guy's just throwing directly into the guard.
Yeah, throwing directly into the guard. I didn't get it. I think there was an armor problem they fixed. And Jeff's willing to stand there at the rail and just, like, broadside him. He's like, the bottom of his stick is right at the top of the barrier, so he can't throw at the leg chop. He can easily turn himself out to block out the chop. Like, he's not even really moving out of the way of the, like, moving to the side or anything else like that. He's just standing there, and the Polish fighter's just swinging at him. Threw a couple of leg shots. Those were nice little snipes. He's got that perfect flat snap that he's throwing with the pole. There he is again. He's just chopping him at will with it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, this is the guy with his faceplate that could go up and down at will. Like, it's so stupid. They don't, like... He said that they had a locking mechanism into the helmet, but I really don't think it did. It just flops.
Jeez.
Yep. Jeff just hammered him.
So, it looks like Jeff is getting some kind of advice here.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, he's getting some kind of advice. Let's see how he adjusts.
Maybe to stay back from the rail a little bit, let him try, I mean, he obviously took that round.
Yeah, be conservative. I'd say be conservative, because you already outskill the guy.
Yeah.
Right,
nice
so be conservative.
Punch. Yep. He got a longer, does he have a longer, the Polish guy's a longer pole than Jeff.
I don't think so.
Maybe he's just shorter than Jeff.
Oof.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, be
2,
conservative,
3.
Be conservative. Nice.
3 shots,
nice.
That was good.
Now just chill.
4.
Now just chill, don't be aggressive.
Hit him as he comes in. Hit him as he comes in. Let him swing all he wants, and just block it all out with very passive blocks.
He's a very good high guard. Oof! Very nice fake. That the tempo shot. I really like that.
Yeah.
Musashi calls that a rhythm of the second spring.
Yep.
Sick book. Read Book of the Five Rings.
It's a very good book. Everybody should read Book of the Five Rings.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. And he's breaking the wrist when he throws it too. So he's throwing his flat snap like at that oblique angle.
Yep, that's what I was saying watching the other pole arms. Is like, if you raise your bottom hand up higher, I'm just letting it roll because we don't need to pause this shit. If you bring up that lower hand up, you actually change the angle of where your blade is striking at, so it actually goes around their block.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm
a big fan of throwing a broken wrist flat snap, so you throw your flat snap and you break right at the end at the top, and you go like, whoa. Yeah.
That's kind of how I throw them, to throw it above the angle of the shield. Top of the shield.
You're a big guy, though, right?
What?
You're a tall guy, though, right?
Yeah, 6'7".
Yeah, exactly. So you can throw at like a really weird angle.
This guy's name is Morgulis. This guy's name is Morgulis.
Oh, Michael Morgulis. Dude, this guy was considered the best fighter in the world at one point.
Really?
Yeah, Michael Morgulis, man. I think he was considered the best pro fighter in the world at one point. This guy's like captain of Team Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast. He has a really, really sick pro fight with Igor Porfentev.
Yeah. Now they're just standing there staring at each other. It was a great fight. Tell you what.
It's alright. Just chill.
Club him.
Why not?
Club him.
Just chill. Oh,
that guy has no idea of his range, though.
These guys get wrecked by Jeff Galley.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys get wrecked by Jeff Galley. You could see it just in the way that they move. Like, did he win this tournament?
No.
Who beat him?
Not
Got silver medal?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually like a very even fight.
Yeah, they're even on the same.
Morgulis is better, but it's an even fight.
Yeah.
He's like better at the same tier.
Club. Just banged him one. What are they confused about?
No, maybe not. I think I misread.
Yeah, I think
I misread. No. Morgulis is like a tier above in terms of betterness, but he's not like substantially better.
Yeah.
Polearm is rough.
Yeah.
Not my dueling category of choice. My co-captain is IMCF silver medalist in halberd duels.
That almost looked like a stab from Morgulis.
Oh. That dragged right across his throat.
Yeah, right. That's what No, there was a punch.
Oh.
Just clobbing him. Just clobbing him.
I love it. Oh, turn your halberd over, buddy. Turn your halberd over, buddy. Nice. Oof. It's just eating shots to the face.
Yeah. What the? Why is this guy trying to punch him?
Oh no!
Why is he trying to punch him?
It's always a bad choice. It's good on the inside when you're tied up to let go of the bottom hand and come up with uppercut or hooks, but not from mid-range. Oof, oof, oof. Nice, good counter.
Just club him.
Step in. Why'd you step in? Stop trying to step in. Man, bad strategy.
By the way, I think these guys found these trees, these polearm halves as trees at the site.
They just chop them down.
Yeah, this is on Petron Hill. This is right across from the palace on the other hill. There were a couple of fortifications up there. We camped right around the corner. We right next to this
down
list.
Trees on private property.
I think so. You can see that there's still bark all over it. Look at the thing.
That's the best look, though. Yeah. I like when I watch Dynamo and you just see them all running out with tree branches. I love that.
Yeah, our tent's like 30 feet away in the background. We're on the other side of the little path. Yeah, Morgullis took both of those. No, not a surprise.
Israel! Solid. Good play. Good play. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
John Harris, Australia versus Ilya Dragon from Moldova.
Ah, Ilya.
Mm-hmm.
I did. We've done a couple of his fights.
Yep. He's in that circuit. This is a completely different suits of armor against each other. This is a man in full fucking plate versus a man in some really small lamellar.
With that old Griffin.
Yeah. That peaked front one.
Yeah, I like that. Look at this. He's rocking. What kind of halberd is that? Nice.
A giant fucking goofy knife.
Oh, it looks awkward. You gotta have a good snap for point scoring in general. Just you have to be snappy.
Like pat pat.
Yeah.
Pat pat.
It's like I find a lot of people are not good at the snap at the end of the shot.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of shots that come out from like the body fast and then here they're slow. Because I feel like enough people don't like.
Yeah, you need to.
You really gotta
like
absolutely wreck your elbows.
Yeah, just destroy them.
Just destroy your body for this sport.
It's too bad that we don't make any money off of it.
I don't know if I want to make money off this sport. I think about it all the time in terms of like competition.
I think it really ruins it.
I wonder if that would be bad for the sport.
It would be really bad for the sport. I think if everybody got paid the same and it didn't matter if you won or lost, that's a better idea.
Because I wonder about how much more cheating we would see in the event that there was like serious cash on the line. And about how dirty the community would become.
I like
There's
how
a purity.
Yeah, purity.
You know? There's a purity.
Purity.
Because it's all about violence for the sake of violence, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were saying the other day, right? To go back to our conversation with Rico. It's all about violence for the sake of violence.
It's the fact that we all can come together with swords and axes and beat the ever-living fuck out of each other and be friendly afterwards. I don't want somebody to feel bad because I got paid more for winning than they did.
Well, it's also about, like, I think that there's like an honor, a purity, like a humanity to the glory of just like being the best. To be the best is its own noble pursuit.
Yes.
It's not like I want to be number one because number one gets paid, or like this could be a career. Like you're pursuing, it's like a martial art thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're pursuing it because you want to be the best. You want to be better than everyone else, right? And you want to be the best you can be. Not because you want to get the biggest paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, different. I just feel like that makes it like a different kind of commitment.
It is. I will be an old man in this sport, like 20 years from now, going, I remember when. It'll be ridiculous. When do we see, does Jeff fight Neverov? I don't know, maybe not. Oh, I think this is where they fight each other. They fight each other in the semis. Or not in the semis, but in like the quarters.
Oh, yeah. So it drops him to fighting for second place.
No, I don't. I can't remember. I think Jeff either came back with silver or bronze. He might have come back with bronze from it. But this fight is something gnarly.
Let's watch this one. You want to call it after this one?
We'll call it after this one.
We're going hard. I would like to see Galley adopt a more maneuverable strategy, a more mobility-oriented strategy.
Well, he's ready. He's ready for Neverov to really swing for the fences on him, which he blocked out.
Just be smart about it, man.
That was a good counter.
Stepping back is bad. If he had stepped to the right, he would have tied up the halberd.
Yeah, he would have.
And Nadarov would have had to rotate out in order to free himself.
He could have landed 3 blows.
Stepping back is always bad.
Jeff only swung to that high guard. He didn't swing to the low mid.
Well, it's hard. It's hard because of the weight of the weapon. It's hard to especially when they're all up in your shit.
Also, Jeff is being outweighed by 80 pounds.
I don't know how relevant that is.
When you're pushing again, when you get close to each other and he pushes you back, it's extremely relevant, especially in slippery ground grass.
To the legs. You gotta have a more developed fake game for this fight, because you're not changing your hand positioning, and you don't want to grapple with him. So you have to have a better tempo game.
Yeah.
And you guys are fighting both left hand forward. Which right. Oh no, it's right hand versus left hand forward, which is hard for.
They're mirroring poses right now.
Yeah, they're in a closed stance, an open stance, which is hard for somebody in Galley's position. It's a hard matchup for him.
He keeps throwing the same chops. Stance. There was a good leg chop, underarm chop. Just got clobbered.
Oh, that was rough. Yeah, see, you don't want a man fight like that. You really want to stand. You want to play the range game. Ooh, that was good. Tied up. He should have stepped forward there. He should have kept him. He should have kept him tied up and thrown shots into him.
I think Neverov gets yelled at just in case it was almost close to a stab.
Yeah.
I think he pushed off to try and jiggle it loose, and they took it as him trying to stab him.
Oof.
That was a good side of the head shot. Boom, another one.
Very good counter. Ooh, another good counter. Oof. Be aggressive, explode. Now is the time to explode. Don't fight like that. Now you gotta swing, man.
Jeff's giving
inside of 10 seconds, you gotta swing.
Jeff's giving way too much up to his arms. He's giving too much up to the elbow and the forearm.
That was a very good fight. All of that, all of my comments aside, it was a very good fight, but they were in the open stance.
And they gave both rounds to Alexei.
For somebody who's standing right hand forward that.
I want to thank Alex. Thank you for coming out. I want to thank everybody for being in chat and joining us for the goofiness.
Thank you for inviting me. I know it was a last second thing.
I actually think that we actually had some really good conversations in this one. It wasn't we actually. It was actually knowledgeable for once.
No, absolutely. We'll keep doing it, man. I like working with you, so it's good stuff. We have a very interactive community to play around with.
Yeah.
You do rather.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy talking to you. I enjoy the content.
I'm glad that we have people in chat that's willing to deal with our ignorance and talking about all the goofiness that we do. By the way, chat. I want you to check out Alex's channel, Bear Blackspear on YouTube. He does some serious breakdowns and talks about some high-end fighting stuff. We talked about it a little bit here, but he's got a lot more stuff about pro fights and singles fighting. I think you really should go more into the fight theory about how to go about a singles fight. Maybe that should be our next conversation.
Hold on, now you've got me hooked on something. I don't want to leave anymore. So what do you mean? Give it to me. Give it to me.
So,
give it to me straight.
I have
Give it to me, Daddy.
A fair degree of the people that talk to me about things is how do I go about fighting in singles? How do I prepare myself to get into singles? And I tell them cardio. Your endurance is the biggest thing, and also understanding your fight. designing your fight in your brain and knowing how to adapt that fight to whatever the other guy's doing, kind of thing. But I think that there should be a little bit more of an in-depth conversation, either between the two of us or between the three of us. Ringo's also a very good singles fighter. He's also a very analytical brain. Hopefully, between the three of us, we won't get too bogged down in the weeds with some stuff, trying to argue with each other, and realistically just take the pieces to build a good mental training program for singles, and how to let newer people that want to do singles, because a lot of new people really want to do singles. They don't want to just do melees. They want to do singles, and they want to be good at singles.
So, like, the thing that I think, and this is like a thing that I push a lot, and I find that there's a lack of receptiveness to it just in general, and I don't really know what to attribute it to. And I think maybe it's because a lot of people just find it intimidating, because it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Fight theory requires research. You got to watch a lot of different combat sports. You got to do a lot of research, and it's like people don't like research.
No,
the idea of like having to learn a thing, it's like unless you're really interested in it, if you feel like this is work, it's going to kill it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like because fight theory, there's a lot of terminology, and it requires time, and you need experience, and if you don't like watching fighting, you got to watch a lot of fighting. Like, you can't learn about fighting without, like, fighting. I watch tons of boxing. I love MMA. I watch judo. I watched the 2018 Korea versus Japan yesterday. It was like 40 minutes of judo.
Jesus.
Right? And it's like, I watch sumo. I watch wrestling. I watch Lethwei, which is like Burmese Muay Thai, right? I watch Muay Thai. So it's like, the more shit that you watch, the more you're going to learn. And it's like, that isn't a thing that everybody wants to do. You know, it's like you watch technical breakdowns of stuff. You buy books on fight theory. Like, you learn about the history of fighting. And there's like a lot there. You know? Not everybody's...
Whenever I have somebody ask me how to get better at singles, or how to fight singles, or how I should go about it, the first thing I tell them, like, you need to go read The Art of War and think about it in a singles fighting perspective. Yeah. And you have to take notes on each section, read what he says, and then how does that apply to singles fighting? And you have to write it the fuck down with a pencil and a piece of paper.
Right there, you've lost a metric ton of people.
I don't give a fuck. If you want to be good at sword fighting,
no, but not in terms of your idea being bad. Your idea is super good, and I completely agree with you. I'm 100% behind you. The fundamental problem, okay, that it requires generally a plateau breakthrough epiphany moment in a fighter's life, right? It's that moment where, like, generally it comes after getting absolutely smashed.
Yeah, getting completely wrecked.
When you get more wrecked than you've ever been in your entire life.
Yeah.
Generally, it's at that moment where it's that I'm going to quit the sport or I'm going to become good.
Yeah.
Right? It's that there's a moment where everybody goes through this, right? Where you're like, oh my God, that was the most I've ever been annihilated in anything I've ever done ever.
Yeah.
Am I going to keep going? Right? Am I going to keep going? And if you decide to keep going, it means that you're making a commitment to improve. And what does that imply? That implies trying to better yourself in a lot of different ways. And not every fighter is theoretical. And that's why you have a fighting team, a coach, you have people who are going to help you. But even the least, like, sciencey fighter is going to be very, very informed about fight science.
Yes.
Right? Like, the guy who's, like, in last place in the UFC ranking is, like, a genius.
Yeah, he's still super informed.
Compared to, like, the average MMA practitioner, right? Like, that guy is going to be, like, super educated.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's what it takes. There's a commitment that it takes to improving. And there's, like, a learning curve there that you don't get in melees. Because in melees, you can be bad at a bunch of stuff and have a really good team.
Yeah.
And the really good team covers all the stuff that you're bad at.
Yeah,
but in
that's teamwork.
In 1v1, you have somebody who is uniquely dedicated to destroying your shit.
Yes.
To finding, like, the stuff that you suck at and just tapping on it until you break.
It's one dude versus one dude. There's no one else that can save your ass. Nothing else changes. It's you versus that guy. And it is a war. It is a war.
Yeah, it's a war. I always assume that my fighter the fighter that I'm against is like the best dude in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I never go into a fight thinking that somebody's bad.
Ringo's going to kick your shit
fight
in.
being like, this guy is like the Einstein of destroying me.
Yep.
Okay? Like, this guy's the only reason, like, for example, so I'm setting up for a fight against Ringo, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, Ringo talks about a lot about how bad he is at stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm not stupid, bro. I know how psychology works. And I tell him this all the time, and I'm like, you're not going to get me to lower my guard. Like,
he's represented the United States in several times.
I'm like, I'm lazy. It's like, I don't do this. It's like, oh, I'm bad at that. It's like, bro, I fought you.
Yeah.
I fought you. The first time I fought you, you fucked me up.
Yeah.
So you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. So regardless of how he presents himself, the way I'm looking at it is that Ringo is just as dedicated as me to winning.
Yeah.
Okay? He's going to do everything. He's going to look at all my shit. He's going to train with Jay, and he's going to train with Kat, and he's going to train with Brandon, and they're going to have camps and stuff, and they're going to prepare, just like I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Ringo has he's figuring out his whole plan, and he's preparing. And even if he's not, let's say Ringo is not doing any of this shit, and he's the worst fighter in the world, and he's going to show up, and I'm going to destroy him all 5 rounds, absolutely just wipe the floor with him.
Yeah.
Right? But in my head, like, Ringo is like The Rock. And I'm like, you know, everybody who ever fought The Rock.
Rey Mysterio.
So it's like, I'm waiting for a guy who's like, I'm looking at the smallest shit that Alex does, and I'm gonna destroy him.
Yeah.
By exploiting this one thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he's making lists of the shit I'm bad at,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like studying me. He's like printing out pictures of my face and sticking them all over his house and shit, so that everywhere he goes he sees me and it just makes him angry. You know, it's like,
Ringo, I hope you're taking notes because this is what he's doing for you.
like, I'm sure. That's how I set my brain up. Is like, I am sure that this guy is developing the science of destroying me.
Yes.
So what I have to do in turn is I have to develop the science of not getting destroyed by him
Mm-hmm.
and destroying him.
Yep.
So it's like, you got to think about it like that, man. That's my approach.
And I'm with you. The only reason I suggest reading a very short book called The Art of War, because it's not a really long book. Reading it's fine and all. Writing, like, taking notes and how it applies to how you think. It doesn't have to be, like, prose or, like, long fucking, like, MLE format or whatever the fuck. It's just taking your personal, like, thought processes on a thing and rewriting it down in your own notebook and going, here's what this passage meant to me. It makes it stick in your brain better, makes you understand it better. And when I refer to fighting another man as fighting a war, what better thing to read than The Art of War? Like, all of that is representative and can translate very easily to what you do. That's why businessmen read it. That's why fucking drill people read it. That's why everybody reads that shit. That's why you have it on the goddamn shelf.
I have them, like, on Quick Draw.
I have my copies in a book. My copy's in a box, and it literally has a bunch of pen writing all over it.
Oh, man. My favorite passage in Book of the Five Rings is the stab the face paragraph.
Yeah, stab the face.
It's all about stabbing them in the face.
Yep.
Right? And, like, you guys have to read this book. If you haven't read this book, like, the first thing you got to do is read this book.
Yep.
Man, you will learn.
We're gonna cut off the stream. We have been long-winded as shit. I think we've been. I don't even know how long we've been going. How long have we been?
Hour and a half. 2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah, we're about 2 hours and 11 minutes. I want to thank everybody in the stream. Be a fan of the channel. Go ahead and check out Alex's channel. It's Bear Blackspear on YouTube. Hit the little bell icon down at the bottom. I want to thank everybody for being around. You're helping me get up to like numbers of watch hours so I can get like actually monetized and getting. I don't even care about making money off of this channel. I just want my shit in the fucking algorithm so it like goes around and spreads around places. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Also, get vicious or get the fuck out.